Yo, guys, it is Friday, one of my favorite days, but honestly, every day is kind of the same day of the week in wholesaling if you do it correctly. So, those of you who don't know me, my name is Rick Ginn, the AKA I am the Rick in Flip with Rick, also known as Dad. You guys probably know my son Zachary. And today we have a really cool one. We're talking about how to sell your wholesale deals. And I'm going to specifically tell you how to get top dollar. You ready for this? Without even having to access a hedge fund. I'm actually going to show you a better way that I've proven really over the last 5 or 6 years. It's so much better in hedge funds. And here's the really cool part. It's a heck of a lot easier. So listen, I don't discount hedge funds, even though a lot of them are inactive. One day they're on, one day they're off, and that will drive you nuts, and they kind of move slow. So I'm going to take the first 20 minutes, kind of go over it just like I normally do. And then we are going to take basically the last hour and a half and help you guys out with one-on-ones. Now, do me a favor. If you want to get in, you got a question, just get in line, get in early, okay? I am here for 2 hours. It's kind of use it or lose it time. You can sit back, relax while I do the teaching part and just wait when your turn comes up. And I promise you, if you have a question, everybody else has a question. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the comment section. This is a great place just to introduce yourself, connect with people. Most people are here for the exact same reason. I can't vet everyone, but use common sense. If you're going to do any business with someone, make sure you verify and you vet everything. And those of you that have been on this stream a lot, I love when you guys help us answer questions. And if it's a common question and you can answer it, knock yourself out, especially if you're qualified to do it. So there's some highly, highly qualified people in this community that have learned how to wholesale for free from me and Zach and are well on their way to be making their 7 figures. That's not like hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's millions of dollars. And most of these people started less than 6 months ago. So use the comment section and let's see what else. Guys, we have to pick it up. So if you guys were on the live yesterday, let me know in the comments. It got interesting. And the thing is, sometimes we get labeled as, me and Zach talk about things in the wholesaling industry that quite honestly, nobody else will even talk about. And that's one of our marquee things is we're willing to talk about things that no other coach, guru, I don't care, mentor, whatever you want to say, is because I just don't know why. Like, you've got to know. I've been in this business 20 years. I've heard it all. I try to guide you on how to make money today and do it correctly in wholesaling. I've watched so many things come up in wholesaling and they're like, oh, this is the greatest thing. And then you find out 3 or 4 years, it's basically illegal. You're being attacked for it. And for that reason, wholesaling enough has its challenges. So we try to focus on the things that make money. These latest, greatest techniques you guys see popping up, the reason they're popping up because they're making money on course sales. And that's why they're selling them to you. Okay. I was very serious what I said yesterday. And if you didn't have time, go back and check it out. It was an open conversation. It was brutally honest, and you're never going to hear it from another coach because that would hurt their sales. And then they would have to tell you the truth. And that's where the problem comes. We talked about all sorts of fun stuff like buying diners and novations, why you really don't want to do it. And by the way, I spent time with an attorney today, and I actually might have to do an entire segment on this. They talked about how entering in a power of attorney makes you extremely responsible for any transaction you do, and you are going to be held liable for the lifetime of that transaction. So, guys, novations require a power of attorney, which is a legal lawyer move. And if you do it one without it, you are at risk because you are supposed to be representing the homeowner, not your own self-interest. But go back to that video, check it out. I'm not going to go there. Let's do this. Let's jump in, guys. Let's get pumped up. Let's talk about wholesaling.
fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, get the guy, go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
So, guys, wake up, okay? The reality is real estate investing is awesome. There's so many things you can do with it, and I want you to experience it all. But I'm here to tell you, the gateway to truly become the best real estate investor you can is start with wholesaling, because it is the fundamental principle of buying deeply discounted properties, because you become a master marketer and you identify motivated sellers, and you basically sell that contract to a cash buyer, a rich landlord. And I'm here to tell you, it just requires discipline and consistent action. And if you're willing to do it, the sky's the limit. Let me just show you here before we jump into it. I got Nicole here. What's up, Nicole? I appreciate you putting the comment on here. It says, for those who are watching, I just got my first wholesale deal closed, 29K assignments, and they split it 50-50 with a partner. So she was working with someone. That's perfect. I didn't pay a single dime for a course. Please do not waste your money on gurus. The materials are here. It's up to you on what you want to do with it. Guys, you are buried with information. There is no longer this exchange for money for me to show you the secrets of wholesaling. I'm here to tell you, I've already done the work for you. Okay. I have gone to every guru camp, and I'm going to be honest with you, most of them, in my opinion, I think they're going to disappoint you. That's my opinion. It might necessarily be fact, but I've been in this business 20 years. Wholesaling is a basic fundamental learning skill. How to market to motivated sellers, buy them deeply discounted, and sell your contracts to cash buyers. That's it. It's not a $10,000 course. The reality is most of these people can make more money by flipping students and basically selling you courses than they're ever going to make off their wholesaling business. And it's not my DNA to do that. So they have a self-admitted failure rate of 90 to 95%, and they're blaming you for it. And me and Zach are here to turn that around. I don't think it's you. I think it's the marketing and what we're selling it. So if you're all about hard work and you want to put it in and you want to take the journey to become a wholesaler and become financially free, you are 100% in the right place. So if you're going to hire a guru, make sure you get a copy of their last 5 deals in their company name. And if they struggle or they wince about it, that means you have a full-time coach and that's all they do. So there are actually people out there that do the business and they teach it. Although they do charge a fortune, that's their right to do it. But honestly, please stay away from the ones that don't do any type of wholesaling. It makes no sense. That's like having someone teach you on how to go to the gym and they don't go to the gym anymore. They went back to when they were 16. So I don't want you to do it. So Nicole, that's awesome. I got nothing to ring for you. I just give you a thumbs up because that's really all you need, because you're going to take this thing to the next height. So the idea is to get Nicole to her first 100 grand, repeat this process over and over. And then after that, Nicole will figure out what the rest of her journey in real estate investing is. It's not for me to determine it, and I'm never going to hold you back. I'm never going to hold you down. I want everyone to succeed. See, the more of you that succeed, the better I feel. And I really like to feel good, so I want to help out as many possible. So everybody give like Nicole a huge, I mean, that's just awesome. So if you guys give me a thumbs up for her, I think that's awesome. And listen, she is no different than you. You guys are no different than me, and you're no different than Zach. And I want you to understand that. So, what's up, guys? I see you in the comments. That's funny. What's up, Corey, Demetrius, Fume, Markeem, Justin? I appreciate you, man. Good comments, man. Can you give me the thumbs up? Jonathan gives Nicole a congrats. So, guys, I don't want you guys to mix it up. Like when we talk about controversial stuff, I just throw it out there because nobody wants to tell you the truth because it gets into people's pocketbooks and their courses. And listen, everyone has the right to sell whatever they want. But if you're going to peddle crap and you're just going to tell about the upsides and you're not going to tell about the financial risk, the legal risk of what you do, I am going to call you out. I'm sorry. Okay. I've been doing this 20 years. There's just some things that you can't teach advanced strategies that require lawyers and all sorts of documents to someone who's never done a deal before. In my opinion, it's reckless. But we'll look the other way if we're making a buck. That's what just drives me nuts. So, anyways, let's get into it. Let's talk about selling your wholesaling deals for top dollar without a hedge fund. How the heck do you do that, Rick? Let me run through it. So, guys, we are going to do the one-on-ones. I take it first come, first serve. So if you want to get in, the sooner you get in, I promise you, I will get to you as much as you can. When you guys all pile on in the last 15 minutes, there's only so much I can do. So please, if you get in there, I even move faster because I want to help out as many people as possible because me and Zach never hold back on our masterminds because I don't have a course to sell you. I already give it to you. So we can talk. And if you have a deal you want to work on, I would love to talk about it. We might have the possibility to JV. I can work with you. And I'm like right here with my team. I can connect you straight to them. So if you have a win-win and you want to talk about it, maybe you're talking to sellers right now, connect with me. Click the link. It should be up in the comments. I believe I didn't pin it up in the top. So do me a favor. Go to Wholesaling Houses for Real. And then in the top, there is a link. There is a link pinned to the top for the live connection, and it'll all be right there. So let me get into it. Let's talk about selling our deals. So, guys, who do you think I'm talking about when I say I have a better source than selling your deals to other than hedge funds? Okay. I'm talking about real estate agents. Like, oh, wait a minute, Rick, I didn't think we work with real estate agents. We do. Here's a rule of thumb in wholesaling. It's much easier to work with real estate agents when you're dispoing a deal as opposed to going out and trying to get leads and acquisitions from them. Actually, I got to be honest with you, that is a much, much steeper hill to climb. It does work, but it does take a lot of time when you do it. So we are talking about the dispositions of your wholesale deals you got to move quickly that you have under contract and you want to sell a contract. How the heck am I going to sell it to a real estate agent without creating a bunch of problems? It's really easy. Okay. Well, I'm just going to walk you step by step through this. This is easy. Okay. So let's just break this down. The easiest thing you would do is first simply pull a list. Rick, what list I'm going to pull? This list is going to be derived from someone that has an MLS license. Okay. That doesn't have to be you. Do not go run out and get your real estate license. You guys already know my opinion on that. So if you have a realtor you work with, or there's somebody in your family or a partner or a realtor that you connect well with them, I want you to ask them to pull a list. And what you are looking for is realtors that basically buy houses for all cash, no mortgage. Okay. And you want to look for them in that particular zip code that you farm for your deals. Now, you can do it by county and stuff like that, but these realtors, I tend to find they like to find their clients' houses in particular zip codes. That's my 20 years experience. It works. So find the zip codes you identify the most on the ones you're marketing, and then have them pull a list of buyers agents that buy properties for cash. You can go back a year, but really focus on 6 months and then look and see if you see multiple buys. Okay. Now, I do not want you to reverse engineer and go past the real estate agent to the actual buyer. That's actually going to create more problems for you. I want you to work with the agent, and I'm going to tell you exactly why you want to work with the agent. Okay. It's so important to work with the agent and not skip them. So you're simply going to pull a list just like that. You're looking for a buyer's agent that does cash deals in your zip code. In the last 6 months, you can go as far as a year. And the more they've done, the more likely you are going to be doing business with them. Now, here's the key to selling to real estate agents, okay? Number one, they do the pre-vetting for you, okay? The really cool thing is about real estate agents that have cash buyers, they don't play around, okay? They don't make any money unless their clients buy properties. So when they have multiple transactions, they've done it before, they already know what their client likes. They already made sure their client has money. They know what type of deals they like to buy. Dude, the work is done for you. You just have to connect with the real estate agent, okay? So the pre-vetting thing is nice because cash buying agents do all this for you. They do proof of funds and everything. You don't even have to ask for it. They do not waste your time with this stuff, okay? They have been through so many rodeos. They go through hundreds of buyers just to get a few great cash buying clients. And then once they have them, they want to protect them. The agent is actually going to vet you. You're not going to vet the agent. And I'm here to tell you that's how it works. So you don't have to beat them up on proof of funds and stuff like that. Completely different. Okay. The next one, on your wholesale deals that you sell to real estate agents with cash buyers, very, very little drama. There's actually little to none. It is incredible. I love it for this reason. Yes, they make a fee, but I'm going to tell you, like, that fee you're not paying. Their client's going to pay, so don't worry about it. So, what I love about dealing with cash buyers agents, there's just no drama. And you guys know what I'm talking about. If you deal with them wholesaling, some of those drama, they just drive you absolutely nuts. I'm here to tell you. Don't worry, I'm getting to the fee for you. If you can eliminate drama in any part of wholesaling, it is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful part of the transaction. So little drama. My next favorite part of real estate agents with cash buyers, speed. They want to get paid just as fast as you and me do. Okay. So now they're going to join forces with you. And if you want a 10-day close, you're going to set that up in your qualifying part and they will get them to do the 10-day close. Okay. I always ask the agent, what is your client comfortable with closing? Okay. Now, never more than 30 days. And typically it's 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Now, every now and then I go, listen, I got a really good deal, but here's the catch. They got to close in 10 days. Could be as little as 7 days. The only way you can do that, because there's no hedge funds that does this, guys. Hedge funds, they're infamous for dragging their feet. They do buy a lot of stuff, but like sometimes when you need them in a pinch, hedge funds can be your slowest buyers. This is where real estate agents, they skip all the work's done. My guy's looking for a property in 32606. They're looking for a house at least 2 bedrooms or more, and they love the rehab. So when you have it and there's nothing else there, you can kind of dictate the terms of it. Okay. So I make sure if I have that property, I can get speed from the agent. Okay. Last but not least, my favorite part of using cash buyer agents, I typically get 10% plus or more on my deals. Now, what is the typical fee that you pay a real estate agent to sell one of your deals? Say I go knock on a real estate agent's door and say, listen, can you sell my wholesale deal? Okay. Put in the comments, what's the typical fee percentage they're going to charge to do that? I know there's fees like all over the board. I'll give you a range, but I'm going to give you like the real target of what they're going to do. Okay. It's important you know that number. Somebody spit me a number up there. I see you guys commenting on there. Is it 1%? Is it 6? Nicole says 3%. Fume says 3%. So let's just go with 3%. Tanisha says 6%. That's usually when you have a listing agent and a buyer's agent. So I don't think you have to go as high as 6. So let's just say 3%. That's awesome. Brittany, Robert, Nano, everything. Okay. So if they're going to charge 3% and you're just focusing on 3%, going, man, I really don't want to pay a real estate agent 3%. That's money coming out of my pocket. No, dude, I'm here to tell you. Okay. You are going to get 10% or more. Okay. So don't worry about the 3%, because on average, you're going to net a 7% more gain by using a cash buyer's real estate agent. Guys, I'm not making this up. I do this every day. The properties just sell for more. The agent gets a small fee of it. So instead of you looking at losing 3%, you need to look at it as like, I just gained 7%. Okay. I had no drama. I got absolute speed. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful transaction. Like, I'm here to tell you, my favorite thing in the world is selling my wholesale deals to real estate agents. So let's go back to the process on actually how we do this. Okay. So we already established we do what? Okay. We pull the list. How do you get that list? You have to find somebody that has MLS access, and you're pulling a buyer's agents for cash buyers in your zip code in the 6 to last 12 months. Okay. Once you have that list, here's the really cool part. You don't have to skip trace it because their number's right on that list plus their email. So you're not going to have a huge list. A lot of times it's only 6 or 7 people, depending if you're in a good size area. And then basically you want to reach out to them and do what? You just want to contact them. Okay. You decide if you can handle it over the phone. If you really want to connect a little bit further over a cup of coffee, maybe while you're out, maybe while you're at the title company. If you really want to get their business, you usually have to do a little bit more than a phone call. That's why we tell you networking's so important in wholesaling, and you have to do it. So reach out to them, call them, meet up with them. And then basically here's what you're going to do. It's real simple. Okay. You're going to review your deal types. Okay. So you know the types of properties in the areas you buy, and you're basically going to go through and tell them, listen, I typically buy properties, either they need a ton of fix up or they just need a clean up, and they usually wind up being a rental property. Okay. So it's either or. And I go from what types of deals do you like to buy? And then they're going to tell you their qualifications. Okay. At this point, this is what you want to do is you want to qualify them. Okay. Now, I never worry about proof of funds with a cash buyer's agent. They just, honestly, that's their job as a buyer's agent. They don't mess with people that don't have cash. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking to you. So you can actually skip this part. I've never, ever had a problem with them. Why is a realtor going to lie to you? Because they don't get paid and they won't make any money on it. So don't worry about it. So you have to qualify them. And this is where you're going to explore. Okay. Listen, selling a wholesale deal to a real estate agent is not hard because it fits the norm of what real estate agents do. The challenge with wholesaling is you have to qualify them. How do I qualify them? You're going to walk them through. Now, I don't even talk about the word wholesaling. I simply put distressed properties under contracts, and sometimes I have to quickly sell them via assignment. Have you ever worked with a real estate investor in an assignment agreement? And at this point, shut your mouth. You're not there to educate them. You're there to qualify them. And they're either going to come from one or two camps. Oh, yeah. I do assignments all the time. The deal, you better have good, like there better be meat on the bone to do the assignment. But that's fine. Or they're going to say, what are you talking about? I was trained in realtor school, never, ever to do an assignment under any circumstance. If they say that, you probably just need to move on. Now, you can technically do a double close, but that's definitely going to eat into your fees. And I like to find cash buyer agents that are very comfortable doing assignments. Now, if they're open to it, they go, listen, I get it. I get what you're saying with assignments. I just don't understand them, and I don't know how they work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that agent and I'm going to take them over to my title company, meet them over there, and I'm going to sit down with my title officer and have them explain and walk through the legalities of an assignment, what they're actually getting with the assignment. They're basically getting all the rights of the original contract, and then they have to close within a timely manner. So you enter into assignment contract. I earn a fee for finding this, just like you get a commission for finding your buyers, and your fee is protected, is written in there. 9 times out of 10 under the assignment agreement, they just want to make sure it's legal, and they want to make sure they're getting their commissions and it's all above board. So instead of you explaining it, I want you to go out and recruit your title company, because when it comes from a third party, especially from authority, a title company or a lawyer, your explanation will go much better. Now, maybe they won't be ready for the first deal you have come up, but I promise you, after like 2 or 3 months, they're like, hey, can I do one of those assignment deals with you? It's so tough to find great deals now. And we just explain it to them. And I said, listen, the typical assignment deal needs to be closed in 2 weeks. Okay. I'll let them go 3. I try not to give agents 30 days unless there's no other way to do it. I mean, I don't have any other buyers. So I've had once you develop a relationship with these cash buying agents, you can move properties really fast, and their buyers will request to buy properties from you. But like, guys, I'm here to tell you the one thing that is non-negotiable when you do this method. Okay. Don't think you're cuter and smarter than every other real estate investor out there and think you're going to go around the real estate agent and contact that buyer and then cut them out. The first thing they do when you do that, I promise you, they have a very deep relationship with the realtors. And think about how you found them. You found them through a personal connection with the realtor. You have to honor it. Don't go around their back. I've even had cash buyers call me and go, listen, can we work without? No, don't do it. It's a trap question. You might think you're saving yourself some money, but you're going to burn a relationship. You're going to burn a cash buyer. And honestly, they're going to tear your reputation up at the title company. Although you might be tempted to do it, don't do it. It's really bad business. That's the equivalent of another wholesaler going around your back and talking to your seller. It's the exact same thing. And I see wholesalers do it all the time. It's a shortcut. It will make your life miserable in the long run. And for that reason, if you're going to use that method to do that, don't use this technique. Okay. I love cash buying agents so much better than selling the hedge funds. They're faster. There's less drama. I don't have to pre-vet anything, and the assignment contracts are airtight when I enter them. Occasionally, I have to do a double closing, but guys, I'm not talking about wholesale. Wholesales go on regular MLS, and it's really no problem. I'm talking about your regular wholesale deals you want to sell via assignment of contract, and you using cash buyer agents for it. It works really well. You have to take the time to build a relationship with them. It's a little bit hard at first, but you just have to find a cash buying agent that's doing business in your area with cash buyers. And then if you can find one that's open to working with you via assignments and they trust you and develop a relationship with you, it works. Now, hopefully, here's another way you can get the list. We talk about getting the list. I have stuff that pops in my head from so long ago. It's like crazy. And I did this recently. Go to your title company and ask, do you have any buyer's agents that only deal with cash buyers that have closed with you in the last 6 to 12 months? They will provide you a list. Oh, go see Jeannie. She's got this guy. He just bought like 6 properties in these 2 zip codes, and he just called over there. They're actively looking for a deal. Now, when you get that information, it's so critical that you call that real estate agent first and just reach out to them and just do your normal meet and greet. Guys, there's so many ways to get the list. Just don't go get your real estate license to get this list. You don't need to do it. I'm just here to tell you this stuff works. So, have I proven to you that using a real estate agent for a cash buyer, I'm telling you, is more effective than using a hedge fund? And here's the secret. There's more of them than there are hedge funds. Now, I know hedge funds have a lot of money, but they have very narrow criteria they're going to buy in. And sometimes you don't fit, and speed is definitely not their strong suit. So it's a good one. So guys, I am going to, let me put up here. People are asking me for the link, and somehow, so if you guys want to get on live, go over to Wholesaling Houses for Real. Hold on. I'll pop the link up here for you guys. Let's see here. Where did I put it? It's usually pinned right here on the top. Okay, I'm going to copy this. Well, no, I can do this. Let's do this. So if you guys want to join and do the one-on-one, make it real easy for you. I'm going to pin it on the comments. I don't know how to pin it. I'm just going to put it in there. So guys, we are wide open to do one-on-ones. I don't know if I'm like scaring people, so I'm going to help. I'm going to help everybody out in the comments on there. But you know, anything wholesaling, let's talk about it. So I got a question. Says, good evening, Rick. I have a question. How do I hire boots on the ground to walk cash buyers through the homes? And what would be the title of this? I'm a newbie to wholesaling in the Miami market. So I assume you're doing this virtually because that's the reason you're somewhere else and you can't walk them through it. So it's not hard to hire someone to walk cash buyers through the ground on home. The challenge, the only challenge you're ever really going to have is you have to identify what type of seller you have. So if the house is vacant, this is a piece of cake. You can hire someone. I recommend just using Facebook, social media, Instagram, Craigslist, and find someone for 50 to 75 bucks, preferably an ex-property manager, a current property manager, a current real estate agent is not doing a lot, that's just kind of hanging out in Miami, or maybe an ex-realtor. So when they get on there, on a vacant home, piece of cake. The challenge comes when the home is occupied. And when the home's occupied, it's not that easy. Because you have challenges, because some homeowners are difficult with this stuff. So you have to identify what the person to do. Vacant houses, piece of cake, hire someone, 50, 75 bucks, you're done. The question is, if you're going to send a cash buyer there with a contract with a home seller that lives in the house, you have to make sure you clearly explain to the seller, I'm going to bring by some of my partners to take a look at the house. There might be 2 or 3 people walking through, and I just want to make sure that's going to be okay with you. I promise you, I'll have somebody there with them. They'll escort them through the house. And guys, this is one of the challenges of virtual marketing. And be prepared. You're going to go through a lot of people and do this, because some people aren't reliable. Some people don't show up on time. You have to be careful what they sell you to the seller. Sometimes they say stuff to the buyer. Their job is just to get them in there to look at the asset real quick and get them out as fast as possible. The problem with boots on the ground, if they spend too much time there and they think they're helping you by talking to the seller and the buyer, they're not. And that's the challenge. You're not there. And so you're going to have to go through some people. I'm going to prepare you to probably lose some deals when you do it on home occupied properties. On vacant ones, it's a piece of cake. So make sure you got a detailed explanation to your seller. And sometimes I've had to stay on the phone while my boots to the ground person on there, because the biggest risk is them saying something negative or something that'll affect your deal with your seller. I could care less about the cash buyer. They're a dime a dozen. So, awesome. Okay, everything's on there. So let's jump on here, guys. So if you want to go over something on the live, here's the premise of the live. Dude, I'll talk about anything. Like I just don't hold back. So if you need help with it, just be honest where you are, and then let's talk about solutions. Because if we complain the entire time, I can hear it. I just can't do anything about it. I don't do much with complaints, and I don't have a complaint department. I leave that up to Zach. So, Hisham, you there?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes. How you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. So I just have 2 quick questions. So the first one is, I have a deal and I agreed with the seller on a price and everything. The numbers work. Like, I could make money from this property, but my issue is there are only 40,000 people live in that whole city, but I think there's 140,000 in the county. So I'm not sure if this is something that I should go with, because the numbers work, but at the same time, like, there's not a lot of people in the city.
Okay. So do you have it under contract?
No, I don't.
Okay. So part of the deal is, so have you done a wholesale deal before?
Nah, I came close,
Okay.
but no, I didn't close
Okay.
the deal.
So one of the things you guys got to go out is you got to go out and actively find cash buyers. And in the
Yeah.
perfect world, the reality is you're running a business. So
Yeah.
if your inventory is real estate, distressed real estate,
Yes.
you have to have customers or you don't really have a business.
True.
Okay. The problem is you're in an area where there's a smaller population, so the demand could be a little bit lower.
Yeah.
The problem is unless you reach out to cash buyers, you're never going to know. You're just never going to know.
Yeah.
So if you're in that situation with a small population, the first thing I would just go sit there and nail is your cash buyers. And we're in a little bit trickier of a market where they're not completely jumping over the fence, guys. We still have a pretty robust real estate market. You guys have no idea what bad is. You don't even have a clue what bad is. A bad is when you could never find a seller and you bought it at 50 cents on the dollar. I've been there. Okay. We're
Yeah.
nowhere near that. So how much were you looking to contract the property for?
Okay, so I believe we agreed on 48,000, and I did my numbers the same way you guys said, like minus repairs, and it's under ARV is under 120K, so at least 70%. And for a cash buyer, I need to be under, I believe, like 62,000, and we agreed with 48.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of homes. There actually been homes in the area that sold. It's just that the population in the city. That's what made me kind of nervous.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let me get this straight. The ARV for this house is roughly what again?
I think I have to go back to my note, but I believe around 130-ish.
Okay. And you're potentially going to put it under contract for how much?
48.
Okay, dude. I don't see where your problem is. So what's the motivation for the seller selling it to you?
He basically just wanted to get rid of the house and buy another property.
Okay. So here's what you need to do. What state are you in?
So that
What state are you doing business in?
well, that property is in South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, if you have a really good wholesale deal
Yeah.
and you're worried about a small population, don't get me wrong, under 75,000 small for a
Yeah.
wholesaling market.
Yeah.
The best way to attract people in a small market is have a really great deal. If that thing doesn't need a ton of rehab, if you're based on those numbers you're telling me there, like, dude, that's like 50 cents on the dollar. You're going to have people stepping over you to buy that thing.
Okay.
Unless I'm missing something. So here's what I tell you. I would put it under contract and just have the longest inspection period you can get away with it and go to town.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, you're going to learn your market very well, very quick. Okay. Either you have an absolutely smoking deal or you don't have a good comp. So what are you using to pull your comps on this?
I got that lead. Well, the list from Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
Yes. I got it from Marketplace. Yes. And the seller said it will probably need around 30 to 40,000 in renovations. I knew I could close. I just wanted to make sure and see because I don't want to.
So here's the deal. Have you gone through the whole free wholesaling course? And keep in mind, I can check, see how much progress you made through each module.
No, honestly, I haven't. No.
Okay. So I love your enthusiasm, but you just got to get some basic skill set to go through because you have to understand if you get a really good deal, the best thing you can do from a motivated seller. I'm a little concerned the leads coming from Facebook Marketplace because motivated sellers don't really go there. They don't. You've got to go find them. Yeah. So I'm the type of guy who's going to go to the Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, everything else. So you have to confirm how long's the guy owned it for?
Oh, I believe it was a couple of years.
Okay. So most motivated sellers own the property, 4 or 5 years plus. So
yeah, true.
You got to find out. You just want to make sure you're not taking over someone else's problem that can't move it. Because why would someone buy a house a year or two ago, have that much rehab, and then they can't do anything with it? It doesn't make sense. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm not. So you've got to see if your motivation's there is correct? Is he just telling you that, or like, is it for real? Does he? Because if he's got to get rid of it, he's going to be highly negotiable.
Yeah.
So I would try to negotiate the best deal. Remember, you want to go for that no.
Okay.
You know what I mean by that, right?
Wait, go for that? No.
Yes.
Actually, no, I don't.
When you make an offer to a seller, this is all in my course, okay?
Yeah.
It's important when you come down to the negotiation, your first reaction from the seller, you want a no. And I
Yeah.
know it goes against every fiber of being in your body. There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
If you make the guy or the gal an offer and they go absolutely, and they put their hand out and shake you, how are you going to feel?
Yeah. Yeah.
You overpaid for it is what's going to
Yeah.
tell you. So
Yeah.
instead of overpaying for it, find out what their bottom rock number is without saying it, and just say, hey, listen, what do you need to get out of this property to move on?
Yeah.
Now, they might spit out and go, you know what, Sean, I need like 40, 45. I go, listen, whatever you're thinking about throwing out because you're new to this,
yeah.
just take 10, 15 grand off of it right off the bat. Take 20 off of it.
Okay.
So just, if he was going to offer 40, go, listen, would you take 20? Like, I got 20 grand ready to go. Is that something you want to do? And just watch the reaction, shut up. And they're either going to like, listen, I can't take anything less than 35, which now you've kind of they tell me 35. I know I can get it for 30. Okay. Or they're going to go back. Are you absolutely nuts, Hisham? I go, I didn't think you'd take that offer. That's why I just kind of told you that.
Yeah.
And then go back and try to renegotiate with him and dig out of him. You want to get a reaction of no. The human interaction part is we're all being taught to try to get a yes. When you get a quick yes, you're going to get 100 no's behind it because your cash buyers are like, I don't like that price. I don't want to pay for that.
Yeah.
You're off getting the battle done up front. So you are already going to have challenges with your cash buyers. Give them the best deal you can possibly get, and it'll be so much easier.
Okay.
I think you got a heck of a lot more room in that deal.
Yeah.
And you're really going to have to dig into the motivation, though, because I don't know if it's there. Facebook Marketplace is not where a motivated seller goes. I'm just being honest with you.
Okay. I hear you. Yeah.
So Ishab, where's the best place to find motivated sellers? If I told you to pull a list, which one would you pull?
I mean, I hear you guys talk about driving for dollar and Zillow Marketplace, and I remember Zach talk about government list. I talked to Zach like yesterday, I believe. I do. I have a deal that I'm gonna lock up in my market from driving for dollar. I think it's a pretty good lead. Like, I do a mixture of both. Like, one day a week I would call strictly driving for dollar leads, and the other days I'm in between Zillow and Marketplace.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have like 2 or 3 leads that are way better. That I found it way better, and the numbers make sense. It's just this specific lead, I was kind of concerned because of the population.
Okay, so the best way to counteract that is get the deal for the best price you possibly can.
Okay.
And it'll make the backside so much easier. If you have an average deal or like there's very little, you will struggle terribly. So go for that no. I want you to dig in the course much deeper. There's a lot in there, dude. And I'm not charging you. So you're going to have to put the time in and dig through it. And remember, I want you to focus on government lists and driving for dollars. That's where you're truly going to find motivated sellers.
Yeah.
I'm suspect that you're buying a deal from a motivated seller on Facebook Marketplace, because if it's that good of a deal, he probably would have been hammered with 100 other agents, wholesalers, everything else. So
true,
guys, by the way, there's people that go on like these marketplaces and they already know what the trigger words are.
Yeah.
Motivation, quick sale, stuff like that. And they use it against you. It only works on newbies. After a while, you figure it out. So I'm just telling you, I would really dig, and I would hit them with some rock low prices.
Yeah.
And just have them get a no and just see where it is and see if you get in the 20 or 30s. If you get at that price, you should have no problem selling at all. I don't even care what your population is. I've sold properties in towns of less than 1,000 people.
Yeah.
But you got to have a good deal because you're only going to have so many people that have the cash in that town that are looking to buy those types of deals. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I talked to him. I tried to get it under 45, but that was, he said his lowest was 48.
Well, I do some digging, dude. I'm concerned it's on Facebook Marketplace. I've never bought from a motivated seller on Facebook Marketplace. It's typically the opposite. It's the wholesalers and the agents that use it to get top dollar. So
Yeah.
I think he's using a lot of trickery words to suck you in, and I would do a little bit more homework on it.
Yeah.
And I would go attack government lists and driving for dollars. But give it a shot, see if you can get a good price on it. And then worst case scenario, say you got to put on the contract for like 40, 45. Say it's close. Make sure you got like a 30-day inspection period. Tell them like, look, dude, it sounds like there's a lot of damage. I got to look it over. And that gives you more time to try to find a buyer. And if you can't find a buyer in 2 weeks, just get out of the contract and move on. Okay. He's playing with you.
Yeah. Also, because for that same property, the agent, she sent me her. I sent. So first, I sent my agreement, and there was an agent in this transaction, and she sent her agreement. And when I looked at it over, it said that to cancel the contract, I would have to pay a $250 fee or something.
That's called real estate agent extortion. Listen, I'm here to tell you, dude.
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace and an agent, you probably do not have a motivated seller. They just don't. They don't do all these extra steps. So I would find a way that you can go direct to the seller. You can keep playing around with this one if they don't have any other buyers. There might be an opportunity, but it's once you have a real estate agent involved, dude, it's brutal. It's just you have to have a pre-set up relationship with a realtor to make anything work in wholesaling. The same for dispositions and the same when you do acquisitions. If you go on any type of market, MLS, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, I don't care where it is. You have to go through the gatekeeper and they're in control. So I wouldn't spend a lot of more energy on this deal. I just don't think it's there.
Yeah, me too. I just want
to. They're disguising it on you. And like people do this all the time. And then, by the way, all your computer searches are keyed on like these motivational words. Everybody knows what they are. So it doesn't work anymore. We used to scrape Craigslist with that, what was it? TTFF, whatever it was. And it basically was like an and/or statement in which search. So anytime sell fast motivation, it would pop up and I would get an email. Dude, it worked like gangbusters for 3 or 4 years. And then every seller popped up because they learned the words that got the most action. It's just like a YouTube video. You guys see those thumbnails? They're like, oh, that looks a little racy. I'm going to go ahead and click it. And it's just, this is what's going on now. So like, I even hate doing thumbnails like that, but it is what it is. If I can help people out of the wholesaling, I'm fine with it. So I would just give it one more shot and just go to the government list and driving for dollars. And then you got to find sellers with true motivation. And remember, Sham, the first thing you have to do is seek motivation.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I'm already finding a little success from driving for dollar. So I'll just keep doing that and bandit signs.
Yeah. The driving for dollars is huge. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate the
help. Okay, bud. Have a good one. Okay. Let's see here. Let me answer a couple of questions, and I got everybody in order, so I got plenty of time to help everybody out. So don't worry. Let's see here. See, you guys are helping answer questions, so that's awesome. Theater goes, how would I pay a boots on the ground? Dude, super simple today between Zelle, Venmo, all this other stuff. If you're going to use them consistently, make sure you send them a W-9 form and they fill it out. That says if you pay them $600 or more, you have to send them a 1099. The reason you want to do that, if you don't send them a 1099, you can't write that off on your taxes. So even if you're doing it personally, you're doing it under LLC. If you're going to pay someone consistently in business, once you go over $600, have them fill out a W-9. It's so brutal in Florida to have everybody wants to be paid in cash. There's so many cash apps out there, but like Venmo and Zelle are probably the most popular ones, but I can pay them however you want. So, so next level asks, hey, where do I pull that cash buyer agents? You just got to find a real estate agent that has access to MLS because it's a pain in the butt. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I'm lucky. I have a brokerage and my wife runs it. So it's not that big deal, but I spend a lot of time in real estate agents' offices. And by the way, when you go in that office, there is so much information in that office. They have property management companies. Most of them have a whiteboard in the background. It used to be one of my favorite things. I used to take a picture of it. Now, I was never looking to steal the deals. I was just looking for what people were putting properties under contract for. And a lot of times they put data up that you don't even get till the data closes out like 30 days later. So it also tell you where people are buying. It tells you where the cash transactions are. So when you get this list, you're looking for a realtor to pull a buyer's agent report for cash deals only, no mortgages. Tell them I don't worry so much about the price range because it'll weed itself out, but look for particular zip codes. If you're not buying out by the beach and they're $1 million homes, don't go out looking them. Go out west where you're looking for, whatever it is. And then once you get the report, the really cool thing is you have the agent's name, you have their email on it, and you have their phone number. You don't have to skip trace any of it. So it's really fast. If you're ever in a jam and you got to sell a deal quickly, the fastest way, honestly, are a lot of these cash buyer agents. Okay. If you can't find a regular cash buyer, you're running short, you better rip to the real estate agents. And if you guys will consistently market these people and talk to them, you can add them to your dispo. And you guys, you have to have regular cash buyers. Throw some hedge funds in there. That takes work. And then you should have buyers agents on top of it. And you should have your own repeat buyers database. Of all those, you have to use them all. Some deals require a lot of work to sell and some require no work at all. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about with that. So, so it's your buyer's agents from a MLS agent. Hey, Rick, seller asked me for a proof of funds. What exactly can I do? This is real simple, but pure. I'm assuming you're starting out as a wholesaler. You've jumped into the freewholesaling.com course and you're loving it. So there's a section on there on like what do they call it? POF, proof of funds. Okay. So you really got 2 to 3 ways to attack this. Okay. Number one, I always tell everybody when you're getting the wholesaling, prepare your war chest. What do I mean by that? Show people you're qualified. Some of you got like decent credit, good jobs and stuff like that. And you could actually take down a property traditionally buying it with a mortgage. I don't want you to do that, but if you can do that, that could actually suffice as your proof of funds to a point, even though it's not cash. Okay. Number 2, line yourself up with a money partner. Basically having somebody fund the deal, either for a percentage of the deal, a return on investment, or make them your partner. The third way is go out and stack up as many cash buyers as you humanly can, ask for their proof of funds, get their cooperation, and then if they're lined up for a certain deal you're buying, you can use your cash buyers' proof of funds to buy that property. I prefer you start with the first one I start and work your way over, but that's what you have to do. But please go through the course and get yourself completely educated and take tons of action. Do not let a proof of funds get in your way. I'm here to tell you guys, most motivated sellers do not ask you for proof of funds. It's very rare. Okay. Less than 10% of the people ever ask me. I got no problem doing it. I've been doing it 20 years. When I started out, I didn't have it. So I'm telling you exactly what I did. I set myself up for what I had. Then I had a cash partner and I would borrow money, or I would, like in the beginning, I just had to split deals with people. Then I got it all the way down where I'd give them an 8 to 10% return while I use the money. And the third one is I'd use my cash buyer's proof of funds that I've already pre-vetted and I know they're good for the deal. And I would submit that and just let them know they're my partner on the deal. So hopefully that'll answer that for you. Let's see here. Okay. Reverse triangle. Okay. So let's jump on Denver. You there?
Yes, I am. Oh, wow. Check.
How
Can you hear
doing,
me?
man? Yeah, I can hear you fine, man. What you up to?
I'm doing well, man. Just I'm actually sending out this YouTube to a couple of my buddies and colleagues. But what's going on, man? Happy Friday.
So what YouTube are you sending out? I want to know.
The how to sell deals, yours right now.
Okay. Yeah. So guys, I'm telling you, I didn't use buyer's agents for the longest time, and I found it by accident. He said, "Hey, you got any deals?" My clients are like just beating me up for it, and I just said, yeah, do you work with assignment of contract? He goes, no, but I don't understand it. But if you can explain it to me. And I took him over to my title company. And like the typical agent like I work with, they've bought 50 or 60 plus deals from our company.
Right.
And it gets really easy after a while. It's simple text and it goes. And
Mhm.
here's the really cool part is the agents are viewing the properties. Most of their buyers never even see it. They trust their agents completely.
Right.
And that allows us to get the speed done super fast. The problem with MLS, when you do like the wholesale and stuff,
Right. Right.
they got to look at it. They got
Yeah.
to review it. They got to get proof of funds. They got to go through an inspection period. And you go through this ridiculous 30 to 45 day dance. I'm talking about deals that you can assign and
Mhm.
get them closed in as little as 7 to 10 days. I do it all the time.
Right.
So,
So
what can I help you out with, man?
yeah, so I love what you said about reaching out to the title company to find buyers. So right now I've got 2 properties on the contract. I'm in the Georgia, like Atlanta, Georgia market. ARV is up at like 400. I have the property locked up around 275, and I'm having difficulty finding buyers. But I really like this, like a lot of them, not just one. I have a couple of buyers. Every buyer's got a different buy box, a different strategy. So, I like what you said about the title company, though, reaching out to them. And my question ultimately is, what's the script on how to call a title company and say, hey, can I get your cash buyers list, especially one that I have no rapport with?
Okay. So, if you have a relationship with them, it's easier.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. So, if you have a relationship with anyone, your mechanic,
Yeah.
the person down at the code violations department,
Right.
it's always brutal at first. I'm
Right.
just here to tell you. So I probably wouldn't approach the title company first and say, "Hey, give me all your cash buying agents," because they're just going to look like, "Why am I going to do that for you?" Okay.
Hmm.
What I would do is just do like I normally teach you. And if you want to refer back to the video on how to vet your title companies, you just sit down and have a conversation for your book of business.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you're doing it local, it's more powerful. You're doing it on the phone, it's a little bit harder. Okay. Get that one out of the way and do an email or two and maybe a phone call. Then you can do this. So many people just want to cut out the dance, right? So let's face it. If you were ever courting somebody, let's just go back to high school because
Yeah.
that's
I
where all
love
the
the
games are played.
process. Yeah. I love the
Okay.
process,
You
man.
can't just skip
It gets
like
straight
the
to bed. You got to like
courting,
warm it up. Yeah.
like the flirting.
Yeah.
Dude, if you know how to do it, put it in the comments because I don't know how to do it. We're human beings. We have to be warmed up. Okay. You have to prime them. It
Right.
doesn't matter if it's a romantic relationship. It doesn't matter if it's a business relationship. Typical thing, go try to walk into a lawyer's office and try to get something for free. It's like brutal.
For sure.
Like they'll hit you in the mouth type of deal.
Right.
But like I have lawyers, like I'm like great for, I sit down and have like an hour conversation. I respect their time and I'm careful about it. It's the same way. You can't go in ice cold on these. It's not going to work.
Hmm.
Okay. Because the reality is they're basically kind of giving you inside information and they're
Right.
saving you a lot of drama.
And time.
Now, once you do a deal or two, dude, like they open when you're sitting there and they're giving you like the nice pen and like they're like giving you the squeeze ball. They're like, hey, listen, I notice you deal with like a lot of cash buyers. Do you have any like regulars and maybe I can help them out with you? Obviously, I'm going to bring all the business back to here.
Right.
And so you got to treat them just like you do when you talk to a real estate agent.
Mhm.
In the end, the reality is the real estate agent just wants to make sure you're going to pay them. And they're trying every word you're telling them. They're trying to qualify if you're going to result in a commission or not.
Right.
And they will make a very fast decision. If you're going to waste their time, they're going to move on. Title companies aren't as bad about it because they have an office, but same thing. Is this conversation going to result in any closings for me?
Right.
So you always got to go in it from the with him. What's in it for me? Because that's
Mm.
how people think. Everybody, I would like to tell you the entire world, we should all put our arms around each other and just help everybody.
I agree.
But the reality of the public these days,
It's
don't
not
look any further than our politicians. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on.
for sure.
It's not even the politicians anymore. It's just the general
policy.
public
It's
on
the
how we
policy.
operate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
politicians, I hate to tell you guys, it's a reflection of who we are as a society.
Amen
Because
to that.
you can turn politicians over. It's just, you ever notice the same thing over and over? So, you know, I've been alive since the 70s, and I've heard this from my parents.
For sure.
My kids still hear it from me, and then my kids' kids are going to hear the same. Like, it's just who we are in society. So, they're going to want to know what can you do for them, and then you always, if you ever want to connect with someone to get their ears, you have to tune in what they need and kind of forget what you need up front.
For sure.
And then if you can help that, then you can pivot the conversations. Listen, if I can help you do that, do you think you can help me out? I just got a quick favor to ask, and just ask permission. The worst going to do is say no.
Right.
Do you know, at one point I had title companies. I had 2 employees in the title company dedicated that I paid for. And all they did was like pull massive lists from every county we had.
Right.
I spent a fortune, but I cut a deal with the title company because they were like looking to lay people off. I go, listen, what if I subsidize your employee for like 25 hours a week? She's like, you would do that? We did it for 2 years.
That's
it was
awesome.
Phenomenal.
That's
the
awesome.
Greatest deal I've ever gotten in my life. I get all their systems. I didn't have to do payroll, and I would like send $2,000 a month for like 2. I was like, man, this is the greatest deal in the world.
Right.
Okay. When I used to have problems with probates, I couldn't get into a certain county's their files.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I got into it? I paid the title company that had a lawyer, and I registered for him to do the online, and through the lawyer, they had access to the briefs. And then I think I paid them like $150 a month, and I did that for 5 years.
Right.
So I'm just telling you, the title companies, there's a huge gateway to get things done with them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys don't use them, you're really missing out. The problem is I love going to RIA meetings.
Definitely.
So,
definitely.
And actually, I haven't been to one in a while, and I felt like during the whole pandemic and everything, obviously they got all screwed up. But anybody wants to invite me to a local one, I love talking about real estate. Like, I'm one of these deals. I'll just go in the room. I just talk to everybody. I love doing it. But I remember when I used to go to these meetings, there was always one person. Like, I used to teach people how to network with each other. And I'd say, listen, make sure you give to them before you ask anything.
The value prop, for sure.
And there was always someone who goes around, like, everybody wanted to get cash buyers out of there. And there was always one girl that would run around and go, you got any cash buyers? Got any cash buyers? And she would run around to over 150 people. And it was just like, it was just painful. And we all tried to avoid her. And it's like, just don't be that guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
definitely.
And some title companies, they're really strict about stuff, and you have to respect it. And some, they will give you the keys. The title companies have so much information, you have no idea. On the underwriting side, on your buyer side, they help you with the most active real estate agents. They tell you who's real and who's not.
Right.
I've had my title companies, they've been subpoenaed for my files for like, I've had lawsuits before, and they're like, they will only give the files up unless they're subpoenaed. I'm like, I tell them, you don't give anyone the file. If my mother calls you and asks you for the file, don't give it to her. Right. Everything goes through me. And you would be surprised how many people call your title companies to find out. There's not a day that goes by at any of the 3 title companies I work with, someone doesn't call to get information about me.
Right. And are your title companies nationwide? They do nationwide, or just like in your
obviously I got Florida cornered. I have a lot in the Southeast, but like once I start going to the other ways, I have to get help.
Right.
So it's a challenge. So it's like you can only be in so many places at so once. So use your title company. They're great resources. Just like build it like a relationship, like you're looking to build something. If you have a spouse, a girlfriend, boyfriend, you just can't just go, okay, we're skipping everything and going straight to it. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
And so many people want to do that. And we're in a society of texting and emailing. And dude, there's nothing like a good old fashioned, just face-to-face conversation.
Right.
Honestly, like I learned the last few years, I missed a lot of that stuff when it got closed down. It was hard. I don't mind doing this. I love it. But like, let's face it. There's no way if you had a significant other, or like even your kids, if you said, listen, this is the only way we're going to have a relationship the rest of our life, it would hurt.
Right.
And so many people, you can't replace it. It's a good substitute. It's a good tool, but it cannot replace like the actual human. So, so use your title company and just don't run it over. That's what I'm telling you. So I would warm it up, have a
Mhm.
conversation or two before you jump into that, because if you hit it right off the bat, you're going to get resistance.
Right. Just provide value ultimately. So, quick question, like in with the current market and just economy that we're in right now, like what does it take for you to look at something and be like, that's a good deal, right? And let me give you more context to that question. Let's say I lock up a property at 100K, it needs 50K rehab, then there's the assignment fee, call that 15K. So now you're all in 165, but the ARV is 175. Is that something that you would look at quicker?
Okay, so real
Yeah.
quick here.
Or 270. Yeah, the ARV is 275. Excuse me. It's like about
Okay,
$100,000
yeah,
spread.
because you were talking at
$100,000
10,000.
spread.
I'd say, dude, just run, like, because that's
Yeah,
not
no,
like
at
a
$100,000 spread. So,
So guys, here's I'm gonna put this up real quick.
perfect.
Okay, let me just so we have like some reference stuff here. So first of all, if you guys want a JV with me or Zach, that link scrolling on the bottom is the way to submit it. So we do everything for free. Okay. But if you want a JV with us, number one, you should pretty much master the freewholesaling.com course. Okay.
It's
Get in
awesome, by
tune
the
with it,
way.
understand. We're looking for motivated sellers. Why? Because I have never done a good wholesale deal without a piece of motivation there. If there's no motivation, there's nothing you can do. It's just going to go to real estate MLS land and you're going to have to bid it up. So we look with people, wholesalers that have direct contracts with sellers, no third party because it's just too confusing. And you've got to have spread in it. Okay. So here's an example. If it's worth $150 and you have it under contract at like 137.5, it's probably not going to work.
No, definitely
It's not, because all you are is taking off what the real estate agent fee and the closing fees. That's not a real estate deal.
not.
Okay.
Right.
Now I'm here to tell you the old school of lock it up at 70 cents on the dollar. And dude, you do that. That's a guaranteed deal, but that's not the reality of the market today. Like I
Right.
get very few deals locked up at 70 cents on the dollar. It's just the truth.
It's tough.
I get some at 40, 50 cents on the dollar through some creative marketing we do. But the reality is I don't care where the number winds up as long as I have a buyer willing to pay me more. So
Right.
if you're in an area where there's high demand, there's very low inventory, and you can do it, sometimes you can buy at 82, 83, 84%, but it gets challenging. In my opinion, once you go over 80, you have to have some special conditions with the property.
Mhm.
Like there's no other properties for sale and there's 4 people that want to buy it now. Guys,
Right.
I buy properties all the time that are sometimes 85 cents. Maybe I've done even 90 cents on the dollar because I already got buyers lined up and I know exactly what they'll pay me for it.
Right.
Okay. So if you stick on that 70% rule, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. So I tell people, get active with your cash buyers and find out what they want. Every now and then you get a property in an area where there's very few properties ever go for sale and people will pay a massive premium for it.
For
They do
sure.
exist. But
Definitely.
if you have 6 houses on the sale for that street, you better have like a good deal. And
Right.
the main thing is, you guys that are do you do it local or virtual?
Both. I mean, like I literally have like my
Good.
buyers buy boxes like
Okay.
printed out, so I know what I'm looking for.
So when you the biggest problem people have is trying to figure out, like I can look at a deal. Like I got 3 deals on my desk right here that I'm working with my team on it. Our biggest thing, especially when I work with someone like you, is, has anybody looked at the inside of the property and can you get me pictures?
100%.
If you can get that and give me a good
Yeah.
deal, we can get it done as long as you're like not in the like a town of 2,000 people. Okay.
Right.
You need larger populations because that's just how the numbers work and the game works. Okay.
Definitely.
Once we can verify the condition of the house, so many people get a property under contract and then somebody finally gets inside like a week or 2 later, they go, oh, I need $70,000 of rehab. I'm like, okay, well, we're 70,000 off on the number. You got to renegotiate it.
Exactly.
That's our biggest sticking point. I can give you guys all the tools. I can help you, but if you don't put some eyes on these properties, it's hard to JV people because it's frustrating. When I get somebody submits 4 or 5 deals and I never get pictures and they don't follow through, or here's the best part. They give me the contract and there's only 3 days left on it. I'm not a miracle worker, dude.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So
Okay.
like in your experience, right? Like I just had a buyer in there yesterday.
Mhm.
Like how long do you typically wait for your buyers to get back to you with like, okay, I
Once
want to
they
go
look at a property, if they don't contact me in 24 hours, your deal's like
you're on
the
to the
buyer's
next
dead
one.
to you.
Okay. Okay. All
You're
right.
not going to dance with them like you do a motivated seller. You can't.
For sure. For sure.
You are
Okay.
not. I am not the backup offer. Like you got to let them know when you come to
Right.
me.
Yeah.
You are going to either get down on your knee and give me a ring, or you're getting the hell out of my house. You
Right.
can't.
Well, I have an agent that I'm working with, that I've worked with in the past. We have a good
Yeah.
relationship. She's a part of my team, and she's the one bringing the seller. So, she has the direct correspondence,
But
if you will.
then you got to give them a little bit of room. But like, so when you have a
Right.
relationship with a cash buying real estate agent,
She's the shit.
you have to have a mutual trust. Like sometimes you're like,
Definitely.
listen, you just got to give my buyer, he takes 2 or 3 days to come to a decision. Go, okay,
Yeah.
then I won't bother. You can't call him every hour to make a decision, make a decision, make a decision. But Oscar, like, what is the speed of your buyer? So I know. And that, because remember, you're trying to remove the drama when you deal with a real estate agent.
Definitely. Yeah.
They deal with the drama. They put up with a ton of it. I don't want it back on my side. Just let's get down to business. If it works, great. If not, I'll find you another deal and I move on.
Right.
By the way, I
Right.
love your hat, man.
Oh, thank you, man. You know it. 10x everything.
I read Grant Cardone's book when I think he printed it in 2009 or 10.
Yep, 2009, the
And
original one. Yeah,
it had a major impact on my life. It was just
for
like
sure.
it just the fundamentals. If you guys go out there and get the book, I think you can get it really, really cheap
Oh
online.
yeah, or get the audio, man. I mean, he's one of my mentors. He just had he's been my mentor for like 7 years.
Yeah.
Before mentors were like a thing, right? Like it was like a gurus turned into mentors turned into gurus. But the point is, he just had like a 10x growth conference here on Father's Day, and I went to him and we got to meet, and it was really nice.
Did you come to Miami or it was?
No, in Atlanta. He was
Yeah.
doing it in Atlanta.
No, he's a great guy, but guys, like you can learn so like just his ability to market and like
Is
deal with
savage.
anything
Savage.
is it's impressive. I know not like some of his stuff's a little bit cheesy, but
For sure.
everybody knows who he is. But like honestly, of all the stuff I ever saw, just reading that 10x book is will open your like just show you how to push the boundaries. So
Your scope,
I
yeah.
recommend it for all wholesalers. And dude, I remember when he started on social media,
Yeah.
like he made predictions. I'm like, there's no way. And like
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
it's all come true. And
Yep.
so
Yep.
he took direction and did it. And like guys, he came from the car business.
Yep.
You know, he abused a lot of drugs and stuff when he was young. He did the car business, switched
Yep.
over. The money he started making as commissions, he decided to put it and start
In
investing
real
in
estate,
assets.
yep.
And that's how he got in real estate.
Exactly.
And that's it. So the whole idea of teaching you guys wholesaling is get you to generate that money and then really
Right.
convince you to turn it into cash producing assets.
Right.
So you don't have to wholesale your entire life. It is work. Like I tell people all the time,
Definitely,
this is not
definitely.
like, but then the idea is you can graduate. So like my wholesaling is like, I still love like working on deals, and I have Zach and other people that do a majority of that stuff. But like I look on everything that has an extra zero on it.
Definitely.
So I
Yeah.
buy 2 or 3 assets a year, very significant. And it's like,
Right.
dude, it's when you
Right.
pay 30 or 40 grand just to do an inspection, it freaks you
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm
No,
used to
definitely.
like, okay, if $300 to $500 inspection, but like 40 grand and then you don't buy it and you're just like,
Right.
oh my
Right.
God.
Yeah. You
Great
see,
book, guys, dude. 10X. You can do the audio version, which I
yeah.
recommend. It's
Yeah.
really good while you're working out, while you're driving. And it just
Driving.
teaches
Yeah.
you to expand your mind. You guys got to expand in wholesaling. It's like,
Right.
here's the reality. Find discounted properties, get it for the best price you can, go for that no, and then bust your butt and find cash buyers. And honestly, if you can bury your head and do that for 2 years, it will change your entire life. And honestly, you technically won't have to work another day in your life. But why would you not work if you're having fun in what you're doing and you get to choose
Exactly. If you're
everybody you work
enjoying
with?
it. If you're enjoying it. Yeah. See, because I come from an Airbnb background. That's like my passive income strategy. I just started wholesaling about, I think, was it May 20th? I just started wholesaling, and like I build massive like pipelines. I like building systems. So I build up a system where I have like, I'm getting between 80 and 120 like leads through my pipe on a weekly basis. Like I have an acquisitions team, 5 people, 3 of them are agents in the Southeast. And like, I just handle all the dispo. So it's like, I built the system in the pipe, and it's like, now it's really proving to like, okay, starting to pick up. So now I'm trying to grow my buyers list, because I had a buyers list, and that's what really started doing first was building my buyers list, or reverse wholesaling, if you will. So I know what my buyers want. So then I'm looking for products that they want. So I'm not just putting random properties on the contract and then trying to search for a buyer. You know, what I did was first talk to my buyers, print out their buy boxes. Hey, you're looking for two bath, 1,000 square foot minimum, 1950 plus. Okay, that's what I'm going to have my team go out there and look for. You know, instead of putting random properties on the contract that were built in the 40s and like my buyers don't want, it's just a giant waste of time. So, you know, but yeah, man, that's kind of just a little bit of my.
So Deborah, like the summary of your answer is, so many of you guys have this question, like, I'm scared to put it on a contract because of this, or that, or like, I'm worried the buyers won't pay for it. I go, dude, listen, I have never, ever like lied to you guys saying, listen, you do have to take some calculated risk.
For sure.
And in freewholesaling.com, we teach you how to mitigate that risk to the best of your ability. You'll never get it perfect. Remember, comps are just a range.
Right.
Comps are constantly moving, just like the stock market moves. It's not nearly as bad. Okay. So try to get the best price you can. If the price gets tight and you know it's tight, make sure your terms are very favorable. Longer inspection period, lots of flexibility, because that gives you more time to go out and chase buyers. And then if you only have a 2-week inspection period, honestly, you got 7 to 10 days to find a buyer. That's it.
Definitely.
Like, do not wait till the 13th day. That's when it gets reckless. It gets lazy. It's like, if you can't find the right traction in 10 days,
it's
you've
off.
most likely just paid too much, or dude, I have put the best deals under contract. The title's so messed up. There's so many other things. Sometimes things just don't work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if I'll put him on the contract for 2 weeks. If I don't find a buyer, for 4 weeks. If I don't find a buyer for 2 weeks in, 14 days in, I just go to them and I negotiate it. Hey, can I have my agent list it on the MLS? Because because I work with an agent, and the buyer has to sign because I'm in Georgia, so they have to sign a GAR agreement instead of a assignment agreement. So and they'll just list it like that. So
but sometimes you got to put them under contract, guys, and see what's going to fly. But
right.
if they say, listen, you only get a 2-day inspection period, don't enter into the contract, because you're going to disappoint people and you're going to get in trouble. But if someone goes, listen, I go, listen, the AC, I go, it's like 95 degrees. Oh, the AC works. I just don't want to turn it on. And I look at it, it's all rusted. I look at the roof, it's like caving in. I'm like, okay, I'll put it under contract, but like, I'm suspect. I go, I'm going to need a longer inspection period because I got to bring a team back to check this all out. When they do that, I have probably an 80% probability of getting a massive reduction. And that's a little bit of the dance. I hate it,
but we'll do it.
But I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because I know they need help buying that property.
Right.
Now, when you talk about like MLS, the real estate agent, dude, the amount of games you have to play.
For sure.
I personally will never, ever deal with a property on MLS without a real estate agent.
Oh, yeah.
I have an entire team because I don't speak their language.
What's illegal?
What's that?
Illegal. It's illegal to put a property on the MLS without an agent and the buyer and the seller knowing. So it's like, I couldn't do it.
Guys, it's an entire different language.
It is.
it's a different set of rules of games. And you want to drive a wholesaler nuts, go try to play in like the realtor world. It's torture. Yeah. We all know that everything they put on MLS is overpriced.
100%.
Okay, if you put it on at $219.9, the reality is you're looking probably for $200, $205. That's just so why not just put it out for the right price? Right? No, but everybody plays this game, and this is what we do. And this is what I got to do to get list. And then what I'll do is I'll list it, and then 30 days later, I'll come back to the seller and I'll have a coming to Jesus meeting with them. I'm like, man, you guys really do this stuff. They do. It's a miserable game. It's a lot of drama. And honestly, unless you're making $1 million plus as a real estate agent, I wouldn't play. And here's the crazy thing is the higher end properties, which our company deals with all the time, just on the listing side, not the investment, the amount of crap they have to put up with, it's just as bad as dealing with a $50,000 house. It's probably worse. The hand holding, people need like expensive bottles of champagne. I just can't. I know I can't do it. Like I had a meltdown about 10 years ago with a real estate agent, and I just I'll pay anybody any amount of money to deal with the real estate. I don't even care what 3 to 5%. If I don't have to deal with that crap, just bring me the contract, and that's just the cost of doing business. And then I just jack the price up. And I just give them a little bit more time. So,
so what are your thoughts on websites like open door or my house deals, or like, well, first off, for this is a two-pronged question. What are your thoughts on it, on websites like that? And then what are some websites that you would recommend that are like that, like an open door or my house deals, like kind of scenario?
Well, what are you trying to accomplish? Because like open doors, it's pretty much wrecked and over.
Okay. Well, I don't know what it, I just had someone refer
So
to me.
you're talking about companies that, are you talking about like mimicking the marketing off of these types of companies to?
No, like posting on them. So yeah, great question. So like ultimately, what are your thoughts on posting on company like websites like let's just go with my house deals. Like I've been getting a stupid amount of leads from there. Like just people calling me, buyers calling me, sellers calling me. So, and I'm like, well, I've only been on there for about 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, should I make the investment and buy the year? Because they have like a year subscription or whatever.
Dude, I'm not going to be the guy to ask that because
Sure.
I just, if you have a niche, sometimes we discover niches, and if you get leads off of it and the results and profit, then go for it. Okay. You got to look at the data. Like, I'm not going to give you an answer of something I know nothing
don't know about. Yeah.
So I don't play in that field. I try to avoid all the toys. In the end, in wholesaling, just like I said yesterday, me and Zach like had a heated debate about all these like gimmicks wholesaling's come out with. They're all gimmicks because it's ridiculous. Some of the, when you start teaching a brand new person on how to list a house, how to record a lien, a massive lien, $50,000 to $100,000, and then convince the person after they do that to sign a power of attorney. Dude, I'm not even comfortable, and I've been in this 20 years doing that. It's dangerous. Do you understand what nobody understands what a power of attorney is? Go sit and talk to a lawyer. I know what that is.
Yeah, I got a proxy. I got all the healthcare proxy. Dude,
yeah, I know. It's challenging. So I get legitimate power of attorneys on properties I'm buying from people out of state.
Right.
And it takes them 3 days to vet a power of attorney.
Wow.
Okay. So let me get this straight. If I do an ovation, I'm not saying you can't make money doing that. The problem is, are you going to have problems down the road? I know you are. Because think about this. If they attack wholesalers because we put properties under contract, we disclose we're making a profit, we sell it via assignment contract, and say you make 30 grand. Okay. I put up a little escrow money. I took the risk with the contract. I legally took my risk and got a reward for it. Right. What is the risk with a novation agreement? You have no risk.
Yeah, there is none.
So what if real estate agents decide I'm going to list your house for $400,000, and if somebody offers me $430,000, I want to keep that $30,000. That's what you're telling homeowners you want to do,
right? Because
they're in a distress situation. You got to be
not ethical. That's not ethical.
But just think about this for a minute. Like this is going to be squashed. I guarantee you it. Okay, I've done novations. Novation is not a technique. It is basically a substitution of contract. There's no such thing as a novation agreement. Go talk to a lawyer. They'll laugh you out of the office. And by the way, if it ever comes back and the homeowner's upset, and by the way, say you put the homeowner's house under contract for $200,000. Say you do a few little repairs with them. They go, listen, as long as I get my $200,000, I'm good. Okay. I get sellers all the time. You guys they back out of contracts all the time.
With the repairs.
So let me ask you. So you're going to replace your contract with a $350,000 contract. What do you think that seller's going to get? Like, all they see is the 350, and they're like, 350, wow. And I'm just telling you, it only takes one to blow your world up. And then you go, well, I got a power of attorney. I recorded a lien. I'm like, dude, I promise you, any lawyer in the world, that it's like predator. Like, think about this, guys. Like, I would do this all day long. My lawyer says, like, don't touch it. You can do the paperwork for it, but they're going to look at your intent. If your intent is to completely control a property, strip it of its equity, and just take advantage of what the seller told you they wanted, then just buy it at the 200 and move quick, right? But now when you put it out in the free market, it's risky. And the problem is the power of attorney is you can put whatever you want on it. The definition of a power of attorney is you're looking out for the fiduciary responsible of who's ever on title on that property. Right. There's no way a novation looks out for their interest. I think I've done a novation where I go, listen, I can't make this deal work. I have someone I know very well that wants to buy it. They're a retail buyer. They got to get a mortgage. The only way I can make this work is I got to take my contract out and put it in. He's going to give me like a $5,000 fee, just so you know it up front, for
Okay.
me to get out of the way. Are you okay with that?
Right.
And then we just do like we just substitute the contracts.
Right. Wouldn't that be like an addendum at that point?
You just substitute it. All innovation is I cancel my contract and I bring that one in. Are you okay with that?
Right.
And you have disclosure. The problem is when you start, if you want to just substitute the contracts, innovations are dynamite. Love them. Now, if you want to manipulate your profit with a lien and you want to throw in a power of attorney to let them know you have control, both those things can wreak havoc on you. The only person that can get you in trouble on innovation is who? The seller. You think sellers ever get upset with invest like that? To
100%.
me, it's just like, so they go, wait a minute, you just made $150,000 off of me. And then what are you going to say? Well, I had power of attorney, you signed a lien, and you said you were okay with 200,000. Like,
right.
Yeah, but I don't think it's fair. I talked to my family about it. It's not fair. I'm like,
I mean, they're definitely not doing repeat business or referring you. I like referrals.
I'm just like, guys,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not, listen, everybody can do it. The reality is it sounds like you're circumventing wholesaling.
Right.
And to me, like, honestly, I had to figure out short sale flips. Like, I was one of the persons why they changed a lot of laws on the short sale flips. We had no deed restriction when we did short sale flips.
In your state.
What happened 3 years later? You can't do a short sale flip without a 90-day deed restriction.
And that's in your market.
I was one of the main culprits. I did like 70 of them.
Right.
And the state of Florida came to, I had so many people investigating me. It's like, I go, man, I'm getting nervous. And that's what, so novations, nobody's figured it out yet. These title companies are going to figure it out. Good luck.
Right.
And then they're going to sit down with the homeowners and they're going to do a thorough interview with an underwriter. I'm being told a lot of this stuff is in the pipe work. So I'm just saying, a wholesaler, you take a certain risk. You write a contract. Whenever you write a contract, you have risk.
Right.
So if you're going to write a contract with the ability to replace, this drives me nuts. So I talk about it all day. If you guys know what I'm talking about, go back to it tomorrow. Listen, I'm all about people making money. I'm just here for the long haul. I've been doing this 20 plus years. I see techniques come and go. You guys like to buy nice, new, shiny stuff, and they're taking complete advantage of you. I'm telling you right now. By the time you figure out these innovations, they're going to close the loophole on it. And power of attorneys are, I'm telling you, we are close to the soon not being recognized at title companies anymore.
Like nationally?
Dude, let me tell you, in the state of Florida, they look at a power of attorney like, so the title company no longer has the right. They have to give the power of attorney to a third party service and an underwriter.
So there's no conflict of interest.
They go all the way through it.
Wow.
And if they don't see a family relationship, they question everything.
Everybody. Yeah.
So then they make you sign affidavits and everything because they don't want to get sued and they don't want a problem with the title. The problem with the homeowner is after the transaction, they can actually go back. They can complain to a state agency and the homeowner doesn't have to pay a dime to sue you. They just hire a state attorney and they go after you. So,
wow. Okay.
So I don't have any advice on those sites because I tell you, like, I don't have it. If you're getting leads and you're producing profit of it, explore it and keep going with it. Follow the data.
Right.
Do not follow people's. I'm never going to advise you guys on something I don't know about. I don't talk about digital assets because I have no idea
about it. Right.
Why is it every real estate influencer wants to talk about digital stuff? You're just buying. Like, we can't manipulate the market.
That's your lane. Yeah, that's not your lane.
You're guessing, right? It's a joke. So
So how do I send you deals, man? I've seen you guys have this submission form on your website, but
yeah. So there's a click on the bottom. You submit it. Like, here's the reality, guys. Do a deal. Like, don't market to everybody else. Give us the contract the day you get it, and explain to us why it's a deal. AKA, what's the motivation, and help supply us with some pictures. The problem is if I have to chase down for pictures and do everything else, it takes time and it eats away from the deal. And then tell us the property's vacant, what's going on. And then some of them you have to be brutally active with them. Some of you don't like, we don't need any help with it. But it's like, the idea is if you learn something by working with us and you like how we do it, then great, to win. I've helped out so many people on this channel with them. The people that have done JVs with them, the ones that are even in the chats here, they'll tell you the minute they gave us that deal, we knew in like 24 hours it was going to be a good deal.
Right.
So we usually submit it like when we're missing all sorts of stuff. People like, how's my deal coming? I go, I don't have any pictures. I don't know what to tell you. And you
Right.
drive like people I work with, they get upset with like, I get it. Like they're trying to listen, it costs money to sort through this stuff.
For
It
sure.
costs a lot of time. So if you want to partner up and you truly want to do that, then that's great. The worst thing you can do is try to market the property outside of us
Mm-hmm.
because we just step on each other's toes and it doesn't work.
Right.
So, and
Okay.
here's a good thing. Use me for 1 or 2 deals. And as you're learning it, it's a good way for you to kind of get through it.
Right.
And
Right.
some
Right.
people are scared to death to do the sales part. We can help you out. If
No,
you can go out and talk to motivated sellers, put them under contract,
that's
I
easy.
guarantee I can help you out. So
That's
click that
easy.
link. We'll submit it. And then when you
Where's
get a
the
really good deal, me and Zach,
where's
we
the
try to
link?
get involved with you and talk to you. And then we use it. We use it for content to help everybody else on the channel. Like, hey, this is how they found the deal. This is how we did. We found the buyer, and it's a lot of fun. But like sometimes it's a little bit miserable when there's no information on the property. We had somebody like a couple of weeks ago. They submit it with 2 days left before their inspection's over. I can't do anything with that stuff.
Right.
If
Right.
the property's going
So
to
where
auction, I can't help you. Like,
so
just
where's the link for that? I just dropped you a Google Drive link of the photos in the private chat.
okay. So
But
let me
yeah.
I'll copy you a link.
Okay.
Actually, just go to flipwithrick.com
Yeah.
/JV with me. And if you're not, just go to flipwithrick.com in the upper right. That link's in there. Just put it in there. And here the deal is we'll communicate to you. But
Via
guys,
email.
keep in mind, this stuff costs me money.
Right.
Like people have to go through it. We have to pay people.
Underwrite it. You got to underwrite it.
Yeah. So like, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. If it's a waste of time, we just tell you it doesn't qualify. And don't
For
get
sure.
upset with me because
Yeah.
I didn't charge you $1,000 to submit the deal like other people do. I don't charge you a course fee. I don't have any upgrade for you, but I'm going to give you honest feedback. I'm like, dude, you're just overpaying for the property. Sorry.
Right.
So
Period.
submit that. I'm happy to help you out with you. You're on the right path. Talk to your title company. And if you're
Thank you.
getting traction on those types of websites, then do it. But like
Right.
traction means you're getting contracts and some of them are converting to profit deals. So
Right.
my problem with like internet sites and stuff is people talk about, wow, my favorite is like Facebook. Okay. I can
I
get a
can't
Facebook
stand
lead for $10 or $12. I'm like, who cares? Right? Who cares? How many contracts? Oh, I don't have any contracts. So maybe you need to pay $50 a lead and maybe you can convert them into contracts. Like I tell people, like your cost per lead means nothing to me.
Right.
I can
So
manipulate that till I turn blue.
right. So why do you guys ask for the like the contract to be like attached? I've always wondered that because I'll be honest with you, right? Like I'm a big believer in IP and I've paid a lot of money for my contracts for
Yeah.
lawyers. So, and like in the state of Georgia, because I'm from New York originally. I
Okay.
now live in Georgia, but I've got Airbnbs, Puerto Rico, New York, Michigan, Georgia. So I've worked with lawyers that I paid like $4,000 for my contract. So it's like, why should I send another wholesaler my IP for a contract? Yeah. So I just my question. Yeah, no, like I don't feel any type of way about it, but
I share all my contracts with everyone. I give you guys everything, so you
sure.
don't have to like reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
You give any contract to a lawyer, 90% of them will change it because that's just their ego and that's
Definitely.
what they do. Okay.
Definitely.
You can do a contract on the back of a cocktail napkin. I've literally bought a house on the court steps. There's basically 5 or 6 pieces of criteria you have to have, and that's all it's required by federal law to enter into a contract. Contracts are very black and white. It's a constitutional right we have. Go
Right.
watch yesterday's episode. You do that. So why would you share? Listen, if you want to work with me, like I got to see like you're for real and you're doing the deal. I don't share your contract publicly. I don't do any of that.
Okay.
And I've been in the business long enough, like either people trust me or don't. I agree with you when you're working with someone you don't even know.
Right.
That's a risk you have to decide if you want to do.
For sure.
And I tell people all the time, if you are going to JV with someone you have no idea, or maybe you met them in the comments, you better make sure you vet that person. I would spend a little money and do a background check and just make sure.
For sure. Yeah.
But like, honestly, contracts are I've seen thousands of contracts. Like there's not a real estate contract. I've seen everything from 1031s to, master lease options. Like contracts are contracts. They work in every business. So they're so public. It's ridiculous. And they're all, by the way, most of them are recorded in court proceedings anyway. So you can find anybody's stuff. So it's
right.
I don't make anybody do anything. You want to work with me? That's great. I need to make sure you're for real and you have a real deal. And then I communicate back to me the people that hit all the boxes for our stuff. We never have a problem. The people, If I can't get pictures, if you don't return our phone calls, if you don't answer emails, I can't help you.
Right.
And
Right.
that's it.
Okay.
So I'm not going to rip you off. So you ain't got to worry about that.
Oh yeah, no,
So,
I'm not. That's why I'm asking. If I did think that, I wouldn't even bring it up.
yeah.
You know what
So
I mean? I think you guys are good guys.
but
Got
to do a
Rick
JV, so you understand, if you're going to assign the rights to the contract, which is how most people have to see your contract. So many
Right.
people think you can do wholesaling by never showing your contract.
No,
You can't. You got to get
Right.
out of the business because you're going to have to share your contract, because in the end, it's the contract you're selling. It's not the real estate.
Right. Right. So you
So-
guys do double closes on them, like you bring a buyer to the table
No.
same day, or you guys buy them?
We do assignment of contract. Occasionally, you have to do a double close. If the deal's really good and we have to pull somebody out there, I'll fund it. I don't care. It's
Right.
The further you go down the rabbit hole, the more profit there has to be.
For sure. For
Okay.
sure.
So like I'm funding a deal this next week. I just got to get a pain in the butt renter out of there. But like when I get the renter out of there, it's going to yield another $70,000. So it's
Right. Oh, that's
it's
sick.
going to cost me another $10,000 or $12,000 to do it. But my net gain is going to be like 55 grand.
So how long does it take you guys to underwrite the deal though? Like if I send you a deal, how long would it take you to get back to me?
It's pretty quick.
Like a
And
day, a week, like
a day or two. Like
Okay.
I don't have time for it. So I sit down with my team and I go over everything. And like, that's like, either we're in or we're out. And then,
right.
hey, sometimes we throw deals out there and they don't work. The contract's just too high and we
Right.
missed it. We try to vet that out in the beginning. So
You guys negotiate?
What's that?
Are you guys open in negotiation? Like, let's say it's too high and you're like, well, you need to come down 20K.
No, we'll go back to you and go, hey, we need to go back to the seller.
Okay.
And then we've had occasions where me and Zach actually had to get on the phone with you and just talk to the seller. And sometimes it goes well. Sometimes it doesn't go so well. You know how this works. So
definitely. Well, thank you, man. Rick, I really do appreciate
bud.
your time.
You know how to do it, man. We'll
All right.
talk. Okay, guys. He's got good questions. So I love good questions. So I got no problem with it. So, okay, let me check the comments here. Some people helping out with, so David asked, what is a novation? A novation is a technique where you pull one contract out and replace it with another. And it is a legal maneuver, but the wholesaling coaches are so desperate for new content that they've created this technique where you can basically control a property, put it under contract, then you go out and find a buyer that will pay significantly more, and then you harvest the property by putting a lien on the property, and then you control them with a power of attorney, and you can make $50,000 to $100,000. This is the claim they're making, not mine, without ever controlling the property, without ever pulling a dime out of your pocket. In my opinion, you're basically operating real estate without a license, because at least a wholesaler has to put a contract and stick to it. If your intention is always to pull that contract out from day one, and that is your initial strategy going into it, you are not wholesaling. You are acting as a broker, in my opinion. This is my opinion, but like, do what you want. So, but just Google novation. It's just the hottest, greatest, latest thing. And when you sit in these webinars and seminars, they will never go into detail about the power of attorney, because that you should involve a lawyer into that. And they're never going to go in the process of recording liens. Liens are something you do not want to record on your own. You need to have somebody review it, make sure it's legal. And when you put it on public record, if you don't do it correctly, you can be sued. Okay? Because it hurts the homeowner. And by the way, have you ever seen a homeowner get upset? Especially someone that wants an unrealistic price on your house. So if you told them you're going to get them 300 and then you couldn't get 300 and it was less, what are you going to do? It's just going to be a messy conversation. I don't want to even talk about it anymore. I get upset about it. I think that loophole is going to be closed. If you want to try to take some money and make it on it, that's fine. But understanding, you are wide open for a lawsuit, in my opinion. Your power of attorney basically forces you to do fiduciary responsibility to who? The owner of the property, not you. End of story. So, okay. Deb, you there? Deb.
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing? You got some good music in the background there.
Yes.
Who was that playing in the background? Because that sounded, what was that like?
There's a little bit of little Indian vibe going on. That's all.
Okay. I
Okay.
thought I see now I'm old, so I thought I heard like a little bit like Culture Club, something going on that like I got
No,
a
we're
flashback on that. I
Hey,
love Culture. Listen,
around the same age. I know the group. No, no.
yeah.
What's
What Boy George would fit in society today perfectly. Back in
Yes,
the
he would.
80s, he was
Yes.
like a shock thing. Now, I think he was preparing us for the future. But
I
anyways,
think, yes, he was. He really was.
wha- I enjoy old 80s music, but that's my age showing out there. What can I help you out with, Deb?
Okay, I have a question. Okay, I found a way to get my probates leads. I'm trying to figure out if there's a better way to pull them because I get name changes and all of that, in with it. And I have to do it, I guess, one by one and read through every last one of them. So I don't know if that's the only way. I just don't know.
Okay,
It,
kind of. I don't understand. Say the question again. I missed something on that.
the probate
You're
lead, you
okay.
know,
Probate leads.
I was trying to see if there's a better way of pulling them. I have, you know, uh, found an old probate number, and so I got up to the up to date ones, and so they have like name changes and all of those things mixed in with it. It's not just a estate. It's like guardianship, name changes, and things of that nature. Is there a better way to pull them, or is it that we have to go one by one and just go through them?
So here's the challenge. What state are you in?
Tennessee.
Okay. So obviously, 48 main states, 2 offshore. The challenge is we have over 35. It's either 35 or 3,600 counties. Did you know every county operates completely different? Like even
Yes,
ones next to
remember
next to
saying
each
that.
other. And this is the problem. For me to give you this answer, I would have to go down to your courthouse, like do a deep dive with you. And I would have to do this is all I would do all day. And for that reason, I feel your pain. I have them like I used to go down and pull these things so I could learn how to teach my staff how to do it. So my suggestion to you is if you ever have the ability to go down to your county probate um, court and just sit down and talk to the probate department. Like most of my problems were solved because you guys, these people 40, 50 hours a week, that's all they do is work on probates. They know it like the back, like they'll make you feel like such a rookie child, like when you talk to them about it, and they'll correct you and they'll tell you. So I would start there because the reality is they're not going to make it super easy for you because so many people like they just feel like everyone's trying to sell this information. Did you know the biggest problem we have with probates is people going in there trying to pull that data and selling it to people like you and me? Those are the people they're actually trying to stop because you're not
Okay.
supposed to sell the information for profit. We're not. We're actually trying to help people out with it. But the problem is you have to go through the gatekeeper to convince them you're not selling data. The problem is they get hundreds and hundreds of people who try to do it on the phone, email, and they go in person. Why? Because I've had all these people try to sell me the leads, and they're terrible leads because they're majorly dated, and a lot of the information is inaccurate. So I would start by going to somebody in the probate court and just trying to talk to them and say, listen, here's what I'm trying to do. I try to pull these because I want to help these people out. I have a good heart. I want to help people. I'm not doing anything wrong, but I need to get the correct spellings of their names so I don't insult people. Can you show me a more efficient way to get this data? And showing them what you're doing and see if they'll give you suggestions. The worst they're going to tell you, Deb, is no.
Yeah, I've been there twice. I just happened to find that old probate number from a young lady that was nice about, a year ago. And I was like, hey, I want to get into this wholesaling, probably like almost 2 years ago. She no longer works there. Everyone there, they act as if they're not happy to be at work. And I get it. Because I want
Yeah.
to get in this business so I don't have to go to someone's job every day.
Yeah. So So it's how long you been doing this for with the probates?
I just found it last week, and I've only
Okay.
found
So
one that was new.
yeah.
So,
So you're in your journey. Okay.
yeah.
So I'm going to tell you a story. This is true. I'll probably get in trouble for it, but you guys, I just tell you the way it is. I dealt with 7 counties. I thought I was going to be super hyper aggressive. Like I had a point for 6 months, all I did was probates. Like I was doing so well with them. And then what I would do is I would go in, I would put a like a tape recorder. I'd wear like a hoodie, and I would record the conversation so I could analyze it later. And some
Okay.
people were like really mean to me, like nasty. And then I come back and then I sit down with my wife. I go, listen, this is what she's going to tell you. This is how we're going to go back and answer it. And then I'd send my wife because like women tend to connect better with women. Like sometimes girls like I don't know, maybe she's mad at
Yeah.
her husband or something that day, but she wasn't having any part of me. And then I sent my wife in there and I actually had her record it. And she's like, she gave her everything she wanted. I'm like, okay, well, sometimes it's just personality stuff. So
Yeah.
go in always
Down
with a
there.
kind heart and just try to like, but sometimes if you just ask like a child's asking help, like, can you help me like spell this word? You,
Yeah.
you have to ask for help. As adults, we're terrible at asking for help. So a lot of times the answer is free and sitting in front of you. The reality is I can't master all 3,500 counties because it would just,
Right. It's too much.
I tried to do this like 8, 9 years ago and it just wore me out. And that's all I
Okay.
did. And it was like a robot. So spend time with them and work with that and just work your way back out. And then here's the reality is some counties are super easy. Some counties are an absolute nightmare. And you have to make a decision where you want to do business with and which ones maybe not even worth your time doing it.
Okay.
Here's
Yeah.
what I did. Some counties I had such a tough time pulling. I pulled the leads for like 10 months, 10 months
Yes.
to a year, which I tell everybody, wait, I never got a deal. I go, you know what? This is torture. And I dropped it. I had to make a decision, but I had enough data. You're never going to have enough data in 30 days to make that decision.
Okay.
But sometimes you only have so much time in your life and you have to make decisions which way you want to go with it.
Okay.
So start with the courthouse and just ask. It's free. They run the system. They control the records. They are going to be the best information. And just say, listen, here's what I'm doing. Tell them you're in it for a good heart and say, listen, do you have any suggestions to make this more efficient? And just shut up and see what they tell you.
Okay. Yeah. I've been there 3 times. So I was like, hey, I'm going to give it a month or two and go back and maybe I could get a better reception. But I did find, just pulling them, going through them one by one, from the latest state, which is this week. I haven't done it. So I'll go through this week, this weekend. I just, see if I can find some people that have passed away,
Yeah.
you know, and to
Listen, guys, if you're not like probates are amazing, amazing wholesale deals. They're usually highly motivated when they make the decision to sell and you're solving a problem for them and they're typically vacant properties. So they're really, really good. I keep doing what you're doing. You'll get more efficient with it. Dude, it took me 3 to 4 months to really master probate like an efficient thing. The first 30 days was a train wreck. Like I wanted to quit. So
Okay.
what I did is like sometimes I'm a little bit of a slow learner like stuff. I would just record the conversation. And then I
Okay.
go back because they tend to talk over you and fast. And if you keep asking the question, they get kind of irritated with you if you get the wrong person. So it's an idea. And by the way, your phone, my God, guys, dude, you can record anything. You just hit the
Yes.
button, put it in your
Yes.
pocket, and walk in. It's helpful. And
Okay.
at one point, I was teaching people how to do probates. I go, listen, if they give you this information, and I'd give them the transcript, to like, I stopped doing that, though. I can't, just
Okay.
don't put it out there in public and just use it to help yourself. Okay?
Correct.
You
Okay.
got it.
How do you find like owners? This one property, well, actually, I have like 4. They've been vacant for years, but the taxes are being paid on them. But like my mail has come back, from the address that I look up on True People Search and in the system. So, I mean, how you guys find them? I know Zach said Facebook, but when I put in the information,
Yeah.
they're
So
not even up.
the challenge with Facebook, if they're on there, dude, that DM, it's powerful stuff because if you don't know how to operate Facebook, someone like me,
Yeah.
if I told you how many messages I get a day, you wouldn't even believe me.
I
Like
believe
I'm
you.
serious. Like I don't even like I'm scared to even guys, I'm not trying to ignore you, but like we're live 6 days a week. I want to do it on this show. Like, so it's like I have to pick. Otherwise, I'm getting better at answering YouTube questions, but it takes a tremendous amount of time to answer quality questions. And like you only have so much time in the day. But for a regular person, like a DM is like, it's exciting. It's like, oh, someone's messaging me. Did you know in Facebook you can call people? I
Yes.
didn't know you could do that. So if they are on Facebook, you have a direct connect to them. It bings, 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 and you're going to get their attention. God forbid if you ever get their phone number and text them, they get it. You guys know if you get a text, you look at it right away. It's just human nature. So if you can't find them and you've tried everything else, and this is common, the next thing I like to do is if you're local, if this is a little bit tough virtually, go talk to the neighbors. Man, neighbors know everything about everybody. They'll tell you where they are, who comes by the house, who's picking up the newspapers, who's cutting the lawn, and then just reverse engineer. So
Yeah,
I've stalked houses for months. And by the way, I got a great deal earlier this year. So we went on a rotation. My staff goes, dude, Rick, you're never going to crack this one. So I had a conversation with a neighbor. They were terrible for information. The only thing I got out of them is they cut the lawn every Thursday between 2 and 3 p.m. Okay. Someone's got to be paying the lawn guy, right?
Yes.
So I sat there. The guy showed up at like 2:15 on the dot, and I asked him. He goes, yeah, it's this is her name. That's the phone number. And we did a deal 30 days later. So you got to kind of use it and just think reverse wise. Neighbors really want to know, especially on a house that's vacant and no one's living there. Yes. They watch the house like a hawk. Okay. Now, if you ever approach the neighbors, don't tell them you're interested in buying the house because you're just going to create competition.
Okay.
Okay. Because they're going to, wait a minute, how much are you offering on the house? And then all of a sudden a contract will be sent. And maybe they have their email and then they're going to hold it back from you. So I said, listen, I just kind of looking out in the neighborhood. I want to make sure everything's okay. This house has been vacant. I just want to see what's going on and kind of do like a welfare check on them. That's it. That's all I ever say. Don't go out. Guys, when you don't have a contract on the property, if you tell the world you're writing a contract, I promise you will have competition. It happens to me all the time. So lose your ego and just go buy. So like whenever I walk around a property, I'm looking right before I want to buy it. When I did that, when the neighbor approached me, they go, who are you? If you answer from your ego, you know what you're going to say, right? What?
I'm like an investor.
I'm the buyer. Yeah. I'm the cash buyer.
Yeah.
And instantly a contract will pop up fighting against you to bid it up. So here's what you say. Go, either, what's it? No habla español, or like you kind of like, I don't speak thing. Cause it's like, that's common in South Florida. Or I'm like, dude, I just lost something. Like, I'm not going to give him this. I'm not even going to tell him I'm an inspector on the house. So I'm just telling you, that's how you lose. Like, I'm serious when I tell you guys lose your ego. You'll answer the question so much better. So reach out to the neighbors, find out when people cut grass, just keep working down the line. If they got the AC running, you can find out somebody's got to maintain filters on the house. If the house is it's when nothing's going on in the house, nobody's mowing the lawn, and they're still paying the taxes. That gets rough. Okay. Like there's only so much you can do. So worst case scenario, here's your final fail safe. Put a bandit sign, go get a handwritten bandit sign, go to Home Depot and write a phone number, get a virtual phone number, forward onto it, and just say house for sale or for rent. Guaranteed you're going to get a phone call.
Okay.
Dude, it works. And just understanding when they call, they're going to light you up. Go, oh
okay, I was going to say, they're going to light me up.
They're going to light you up and go, my God, did he put that in the wrong property again? He was supposed to put it like like on the other neighborhood.
Okay.
Is your address 24? He was supposed to do 445. I apologize. But listen, why I got you on the phone. Hey. Your goal when you do something like that is have them contact you. Once you get that phone number, then you can decide what to do with it. But is it sketchy? Yeah, it's sketchy, but like, maybe you need to help this out. Maybe you need help. Remember, your job as a wholesaler is sometimes to help people out that don't even know they need help.
Yeah, no.
I got you thinking now, right? You got to do stuff like this. It's crazy.
Yeah, because one of the owners, I think her sister died, so she's over the house. She's paying the taxes, but she's out of state, and I cannot contact this lady.
Try those techniques I did. Listen, you can't win them all.
Yeah.
And you just kind of keep working it, and you just go out and find new motivated sellers, and you keep working on that. That's it. It's like I got 3,000 people in my database. We're constantly working, like just time and circumstance. And eventually they all pop. Eventually, there's just a percentage game. That's it.
Okay. I'm going to let you, get to someone else. And thank you so much.
Okay. Keep me updated. Okay.
All right.
Let's see here. See, my Spanish is terrible, and I just got back from Mexico. All I learned was like muchos gracias and uh, bueno. And there was a lot of words I didn't even understand. People told me to deal. So, um, Alex says, what's the best way to get motivated sellers? Go to freewholesaling.com. I'm going to put it up here. And honestly, we teach you do the government list. Number one, they're free. Number two, they'll draw out the most motivation. And they're going to point you to the quantity and numbers, which is everything you need to get. So that's a good question. So Fernando's been very patient here, and he's been making phone calls. So let's see what he's up to.
What's up?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good.
I saw you hard to work on the phone there. I go, man, I don't want to interrupt him. Maybe he's calling people. So
Thank you, by the way. I was so nervous that I was gonna go live right when I was in the middle of a call.
no, so guys, if you're doing cold calling and stuff like that, you like show your phone up there. I'll wait till you put it down, like because I think that's honestly more important than talking to me. You could always go back and watch it rehearse. But what can I help you out with, man?
Yeah. So back to the probate lead I had
Yes.
a while back. So I finally got in contact with the seller again. It's been, she wasn't taking my calls, and I call her like every 2 days just so I don't bother her, But I finally told her like, hey, we talked on the phone like a few weeks ago about, the probate situation that you wanted to sell, but you think you can. I just want to let you know that there is a way to do that. If it's called like filing a motion to liquidate the asset.
Yeah.
And I told her like I told her that, right? And
Yeah.
she said, oh, okay. Like she was very interested because she wants to sell.
Yeah.
And so she said, let me talk to my my attorney about it. And so now I'm like, I didn't fight her on it. I'm like, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so you're learning. So your goal when you do that is to get them excited about, hey, who can do it? And then I'm just going to tell you as clear as I can about, you have to beat her to the lawyer. Here's what every lawyer is going to do when they do it. They go, slow down, wait. Every lawyer wants to wrap their arms around their client and protect them. That's how they feel like they can charge $400 an hour. Okay. Yeah. Listen, I ain't got a problem with it. A lot of people need help with it, but the reality is she has the power to enter in a contract with you. And so when you have that conversation, I wouldn't say, hey, you can file a motion, because now you've gone in the legal world and now she wants to refer to a lawyer. Okay. But listen, there's a technique that I can simply explain to you where you have the ability to sell your property because you're the personal representative. And I would love to explain this in a little bit more detail with you. It's really simple. It's not complicated. And you don't need a bunch of like legal jargons to do it. But why don't we take a look at a house, see if the house qualifies, and just the idea is you just got to connect and build rapport, because without rapport, that lawyer, it's just brutal to go through the lawyer. I'm being brutally honest with you. Like if you ever like, I'm just going to say it, unless you have personal experience with a lawyer, you've gone through like a big fight and you spent a lot of money with them. Most of the time it's pretty painful with a lawyer. It's just, they are hired to fight. And so you are now like enemy number one, because now you're presenting her with something. And here's the problem with lawyers. They can actually give bad information, and no matter what, they're going to look right because they got this fancy law degree. Yeah. And we're nothing but simple wholesalers. I'm here to tell you, I've never, ever claimed to be smarter than a lawyer. I know how to do business a lot better than a lawyer. And most lawyers the reality is, I'm not even going to say it.
No, you're good.
So lawyers take forever to do everything. And us wholesalers are the opposite. Let's get it done now. Yeah. Every lawyer wants 90 days to like even file a motion on average. So the biggest thing you do, if you can build rapport with them and connect with her. Now, here's the cool part. Lawyers get really busy and they'll ignore their clients all the time. Okay. I would still try to meet with her and let her know, long as she's the personal representative, the PR, the executor.
She is.
She has the right to enter in a contract with you. That's your goal. You don't want to trick her. You don't want to manipulate her. She has that right. Okay. She's ultimately going to determine the price, not her lawyer. And if you come to a price and you make her happy and it works out, once you have that signed contract, then we can have the lawyer review it over. And if there's anything you want to change, I'm open to talking to you about it. That's simply how I do it. Like you you can't make them do it. Some of them you have to go. Half of them want to go through the lawyer, and there's nothing you can do to solve that. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes if you do it, just make sure you use a full contract and make it look like super clean. Type it up. Most lawyers don't go past the first page or two. They'll look at the first 2 pages and they'll look at the end. They go, it looks good. What's
So
the big? So if you can do that, you can kind of get by it, because then you're going to have to push. She goes, hey, remember, Fernando, you told me I could sell this before, and how do we do that? And then you're going to go over to your title company and get the exact way to do it. I don't want you. You don't know law. I don't know law. Just say, listen, what's the correct way to file this motion? And the title company will tell you every time. They're like, hey, they need to file this. You need to tell the attorney he needs to do this. You have to tell that to your client. Then she tells it to the lawyer, and the lawyer's going to go, oh man, they know how to do this. Crap.
Okay.
Remember, it doesn't close the probate out. It just closes that property out.
Yeah.
He
okay.
submits some sort of authorization to the judge. The judge has to sign off on it. And the judge basically says, as long as the buyer and the seller agree to this, and these are their signatures and they're authenticated, then I authorize this.
Okay.
And then honestly, you got like 2 or 3 months before. You don't have to even close it right away. So you just have to decide if you can convince her to sign a contract. I never say, I don't want your lawyer to review it. It looks sketchy, dude.
No,
it
of
really
course
does.
not.
So
No.
just say, listen, get her to confirm on the price, look at the property, build rapport with her, and say, listen, and worst case scenario, submit it. But understand, when you do that, you typically wait weeks for lawyers to okay it, and they come back with some like BS clauses. Now, as long as you have some contingencies in the contract, don't make them like, don't say, hey, my cat or my brother has to approve this contract. Just put you could put a 7-day inspection period upon approval of property sale. That gives you forever, by the way. Gives you forever. Like, you can write that on any contract. The reality is, you want to buy the property. If you can get a relationship with them and you go directly to the seller, you don't have to worry about the lawyer. They're still a pain in the butt. But the problem is, if you have to go through the lawyer guys, here's what they do to me sometimes. We need to change the contract. We need a $10,000 deposit. Why? I put 500. Like, what's 10,000 going to do? Like, I need this. And the funny thing is, lawyers never, ever ask me for a proof of funds. I find that ironic. So sometimes if you just satisfy 1 or 2 of their stupid requests, they'll go away. Line item says, come hither, and can you change it to go here? I'm like, dude, whatever. I don't care. Can you, so sometimes they'll have a problem with an assignable contract. I always click the box that says, contract's assignable, but you can't be relieved from the contract. And they go, listen, sometimes I form it in a new company, or it depends on what kind of rehab I need to do in the house. It's perfectly explainable. And if it takes 6 months or 6 weeks, I might have to I might put it in one of my other companies, depending on what's going on. It's a really easy explanation. So sometimes they're just difficult. They won't do it. Here's where you have a problem when they say, we need an appraisal in it. You don't need an appraisal. It's BS. He's trying to stall you and wait you out, and he wants you to pay $600 for an appraisal, and his buddy's going to do it. Okay. Then they're going to come back with an appraisal and tell the owner that you're ripping them off.
So how do I combat those?
You can't make them. Like, listen, the price is what you agreed on. I agree. If you fix the house up and do everything, it might be worth that. But you told me you wanted to sell it quickly. You didn't want any like strings attached. You want to do inspections. I think we've come to a simplistic solution. We're not paying realtors. There's no in-between fees. There's no inspections. If that's what you want, I think that's a good deal for you. But ultimately, you got to make that decision. The other one, they'll come back, we got to do a BPO. And then sometimes they'll tell you to have her to start rehabbing the house. I always listen what the client wants. Listen to her and just say she wants to sell the property without aggravation. She wants like a no haggle price, and she wants you to close when she's got authorization to close. And can you help me navigate through this? And I just keep touching on those points, and everything else is a complete distraction. Worst case scenario, she goes, listen, I like everything you say. If you can put it in writing and submit it to the lawyer, my lawyer, and if he says it's okay, I'll agree with it. I go, listen, Peggy, I'm happy to do that. Just making up a name. I just want to make sure you're okay with the price. So we're good on the price, right? Because the lawyer's typically going to come back and attack the price. If you have an agreement up front and go, listen, the reason you're selling it to me for $150,000, it needs work. It's got a soft roof. It's got other stuff going on it. Because the lawyer doesn't know any of this. They don't care. They go, it appraised for 300 and you're trying to buy it for 150. You're a scam artist. No. The house has issues. It's got a lot going on with it. And so I go, listen, are you okay with this price? You're okay with me buying it. You agree a $500 deposit. It doesn't matter about the deposit. It's to make sure you get funded your $150,000, right? And just say, listen, and I will cover the closing costs. So if you have no liens or anything on it, you should get close to your amount and you're okay with it. That's fine. So when he comes back and tries to attack the little stuff, give him the little stuff. But she goes, yeah, we've already talked about the price with him. I'm okay with that. And then she kills the lawyer herself. So I would still work with her. When are you going to meet with her?
Okay, so this is what went down.
Do this because I'm in overtime now because I got to be somewhere. So go.
Okay, so yeah, so I finished. She's like, okay, let me talk to my lawyer about it. I'm like, okay, totally fine. And I ended it like, is it okay if I give you a call in like a week or so just to touch base on where we left off? And she's like, sure, of course. She's like, yeah, let me just run it by him. And okay, great. You run it by him, and we'll touch up in a week. Follow up back in a week, and we'll see how we go from there. Does that sound okay? That sounds great, Fernando. All right.
Yeah. So is she local where you can meet with her?
Yeah.
Do it. Do it as fast as you can. I'm just telling you. If you can get with her and get her a contract, listen, you're never going to force somebody to close on a probate. So like even when she signs, I've entered in the probate contracts. They go, listen, if my lawyer wants to make changes stuff, even though I'm signing this, like, will you be reasonable? Go, absolutely. As long as and here's what I say, Fernando, as long as we're okay on the price.
Okay.
I can work with like little nickel dime changes stuff. And then once she signs an assignable contract, the lawyer can ask me to change it. I'm not. Sorry. What's the difference? Like,
okay.
See, because then you're in control and you don't have to go through that crap dance you got to do with a lawyer. Okay.
Okay.
So if you have to get it all where she wants the lawyer's approval, which is common, just go, hey, we've talked about this. We've reviewed this. So when the lawyer attacks her, goes, no, I talked to Fernando. I am 100% fine with that price. And the lawyer can't rip it apart. So when she goes back to you, because he doesn't like the price. Yeah, but you and me agreed that was a fair price, right? Because typically he's going to show her like a Zillow or a Zestimate, and that's where they try to destroy you and break you up. So go meet with her, try to get the contract. Understand you're going to have to do a little bit of lawyer dance. It's not uncommon for the lawyer okay. I always tell you guys, instead of saying absolutely not, which a lot of teachers do, embrace it. Because most lawyers, 9 times out of 10, they don't look at it or they're busy with other stuff and they wait a week, and after a week they start bugging them like, it looks good, or I need these 4 changes in the contract. Just appease them. They're usually pretty minor and move on. So just do not do 1 or 2 page wholesale contracts. They won't even look at, they'll shred it before they even look at it.
Okay.
So you're still in control here. Just keep going. And worst case scenario, just give the lawyer the best presentation you can and solidify the 2 or 3 points I talked about with her. And you have a good shot at getting the deal. It's not a guarantee, but you know where you're at with it. And you'll learn going forward when this comes up, you know exactly how to attack it.
Okay.
So your only mistake was using the legal jargon. That's it. Like file a motion. Because then she goes, okay, well, I got to talk to my lawyer about that.
I see.
I like to surprise the lawyer with that. Like he goes, God damn it, they know about it. And that's like they know about it. They don't even want to talk about it. And they eventually just file the motion to get you out of your hair. I had one lawyer completely disbarred for this once. Completely. Wow. Screwed around with my client for 9 months. And it got so bad, he asked for another 15 grand. I go, you don't need this stuff. And she went out and hired a lawyer. She did it on her own. I go, what he's doing is completely 100% illegal. And from what I understand, she got completely disbarred for this. Lawyers are manipulative, man. Like they're not all like that, but like there's some really bad apples out there. So
just a little minor question. So is the process like similar or exactly the same any other property once I get it signed?
For probate?
Yeah. Or no?
Yeah.
So I can still put 30 days or 60 days for closing. It's just gonna
dude, you make it really flexible. So like right now, if I entered into a probate contract, I would put close on or before the last day of the year. Like, I don't want to go back and chase them for extensions. Sometimes it takes time. Okay. Or you can write in the contract, you have 7 days. Your inspection period goes active 7 days upon approval of sale of the property. So if it takes 3 or 4 months for them to do it, and she goes, hey, we got permission to sell it, now you got time. But the reality is you just built yourself like a 90 to 100-day window to find a cash buyer for that property.
I gotcha.
Okay. It's sometimes hard to chase people down for extensions 3 and 4 months down the road. It sucks.
No.
So like on probates, if I sign it January and I go, listen, we're going to close on or before 12/31, 2022, but I don't freak you out. But that way we won't have to chase each other around for paperwork. That's what I tell them. Or write in the addendums, inspection, buyer gets 7-day inspection period upon approval of sale of the property. And that gives you unlimited. You could be under contract for 5 years for that.
Okay. So when I meet with her next week or whenever, I'm gonna tell her, hey, you have the legal right to do this. You talk to your lawyer. Hopefully that went.
Just meet with her and just start talking to her about the house and the price, and then do your negotiation part.
Okay, I got
Then you're going to walk through the mechanics. I go, listen, here's good news, bad news, and you walk her through it. What I would like to do is present you with a contract. You have the legal authority to enter into this. Okay.
I see.
Not going to sell the house tomorrow, but the sooner we can get this just paperwork out of the way, the faster I can accelerate the process. Without this contract, I can't do anything.
And this is a great one, Rick. This is like,
and just say, a lot of times just shut up. Like sometimes they'll just sign the contract. Okay. Here's a little hint. I have people sign contracts all the time, don't even have the legal authority to sign it. You know why? Because I'm trying to get their commitment to the contract. Okay. They're in the process of filing the petition to be the PR. And if I have the opportunity, they'll sign that contract. I don't give a crap. Sign it. Because I'll just come back and I'll just refresh the date on it and just do an addendum with it or do a new front page contract with them. But when people sign a contract, Fernando, there's something mentally that happens like, okay, I have a deal with Fernando. And then when you get the 15 or 20 other wholesalers and real estate agents come in, they won't entertain them. And until you have a signed contract, not only are you going to have problems with their lawyers, you're going to have other people trying to snake your deal behind you. So you can't wait too long. So if she goes, yeah, I'll sign a contract, just go through it. And then when she signs it, then you're going to walk her through, goes, here's what we're going to do. We have a signed contract. I'm going to give it to the title company. I'm going to look into your probate, and my title company will talk to your lawyer. And then if you want to move forward and sell the house at a faster pace, like we talked about, then we'll figure out what we can do. And then my title company will be in conversation with the lawyer on how to expedite this situation. Perfect. Lawyers hate it, dude, because you push them.
Perfect.
So that's most lawyers will wait 6 to 12 months. Is something you can do in less than 90 days.
Awesome. That
Remember,
was it.
You're not going to be the lawyer on it. Your job is to do a contract with her. And if she's okay with the price and she's comfortable signing with you, get that part done and go, okay, here's what we're going to do going forward. Nice. I'm not a lawyer, but like now you don't need the lawyer's permission for anything, dude. You can just shove it down his mouth. Most lawyers are pretty good about it, and the title companies work with their lawyers, or like lawyers respect title companies. That's why you're never going to don't ever talk to the lawyer. If he calls you, wants to talk to you, great, but you're just going to put your foot in your mouth. Like he's just going to try to discredit you. If they had a question, tell them to call your title company. Once they know you got a title company, they know you're for real. If they think like you're a little tire kicker, they're going to go, hey, listen, Fernando, you entered an illegal contract. You can't do this. I'm like, call my title company. I've opened escrow. We've pulled title. And I think they're going to call you and give you instructions on to get the property sold. That's all I ever say to them.
Awesome, Rick. Thank you. That was the best part right there.
Okay. You got it. Just keep going. Remember, guys, if you have a probate, the best thing you can do is when you talk to them and say, listen, if you're interested in selling the property and cutting through the red tape, I know how to do it. Don't tell them how to do it, and then just set the appointment and meet with them. And then your job is to get a contract with them, get them comfortable at that point. Then you can walk through the mechanical procedure part and you are in complete control. When you have to go through a lawyer for gatekeeping, it sucks. And there's a lot of coaches tell you don't do that. They're just going to screw the deal up. Listen, you might as well take a shot at it when you do that. So if you do that, submit a full contract and then, but remember, the person always in control of a probate is the PR, the personal representative. So that's who you have to cater to. It's not the lawyer.
Gotcha.
So you only have to cater to the lawyer when they're the gatekeeper, and then you're forced to. And if you can beat that, do that, because most lawyers are very busy and they don't want to deal with anyone, and everybody has to have an appointment. So you're going to take advantage of that by working with her. So she's already excited about it. You're already halfway there.
Yeah, like it's a great one. I got another probate one, but I'll let you go.
Well, listen, if it works out, you'll let me know. I'm happy to JV with it. So you guys, you know the link on it. I've put it up before. Just go to flipwithrick.com, hit the JV button if you need any other help with it. Okay.
This is a great one. So hopefully.
Okay, guys. I appreciate it. Take the information. Zach will be on Sunday. I'll be on Monday. Let's have fun. Guys, go out there and get deals. Remember,